Hello, everyone. I'm your emergency caster, as always, Star Drago. Today with Kingfisher, a new face to the cast. Welcome. Do you want to give us a quick rundown of who you are before we head into Retribution Season 3?
Yeah, sounds good. Obviously, nice to meet you all. I'm Kingfisher, been casting R6 along with some other games for a while, a lot of collegiate stuff mainly, so excited to hopefully get into some more leagues, more competition. Only heard great things about it, so really excited to get started here.
Well, welcome to it. We've got a great match for you today. We've got three great matches, all of them are best of one, so not too much pressure. But as you can see, we have Mist Esports versus Model 1. Here are the standings, the records, and everything you need to know about how these teams are ranking up. Couple information to know. Bottom three teams of both brackets have left, but the most important part is the point system is meaning that any of Commando can fight for that number one spot and seat. So these matches are not done yet. Again, same with Ranger. Mist is here at number 2, and Model 1 is number 6. But these rankings just make it even tighter and closer. You gotta fight for your spot and fight to win to get into the next spot. But we've got some more interesting things for you to go on. What do you think about Rainbow Six when it comes to it? What do you think of this means for the teams?
Sorry, you might have to repeat that one
I'm
more.
asking you. What do you think this means for these teams when it comes to Rainbow Six Siege? When the game is never truly over until Gridlock starts singing. Are you prepared for this match today?
I mean, I think so, obviously. There's still playoff implications in this match, right? Misty Sports and Model 1 White. They're still fighting it out, right? Nothing's determined. Model White, as you can see, pretty close to that cutoff as well. Temper has secured the top spot, right? So nobody's unseating Temper when we look at that Ranger division. So Mist and Model 1, both with important games. Mist, obviously, a little bit more leeway. But yeah, still competitive, still anyone's match. So really excited to see what the teams have for us today.
Happy to hear it. Well, I hope you're ready for the head to head. Let's see the stats, let's see the tracks. So, for the head to head this time, as I said, we've got the ranks, we've got the round differentials, which actually seems quite large. But then you realize the win streaks are completely opposite because they haven't played a lot. There's been a lot of forfeit matches and a lot of games where it has not come out in their favor. So the win differentials are different, but it just means they're stacked in one team's favor. It doesn't tell the full story. Looking at the wins for attack and defense, both teams seem to be slightly defender sided, but if you look at T1, it's not going to be that different for you. It's hopefully going to show you that this is the match you want to watch. This is the team that are going to be a surprise. Model 1, they're not going to give up. The win loss is perfect, nothing to worry about. Just be prepared for it.
Yeah, and I gotta think the round differential there for Model 1 is pretty skewed, right? Obviously, they had a little bit of a rough spot midway through the season where they had to forfeit a couple games. When you look at their actual games played, they've won all of them except for one. They had three forfeit losses, obviously, not great under any scenario, but they won most of their matches pretty handily. I think they're a much better team than the statistics are showing here. And of course, whenever you compare the attacking win rate, the defending win rate, they're really not that far off. In theory, we should have two pretty evenly matched teams here.
Well, let's hope your theory is correct because, as we can see, this is the breakdown of Mist's matches. Mist loves a good clubhouse, so 1-1 win rate, not always perfect, but there's some terrifying teams in this amateur league. You gotta remember that. Secondly, when it comes to the win-loss streak, 4 wins, 1 loss that ended it. And the best player to watch, Kid Blade, having 11 KDR is insane. That kill to death ratio is not something I want, but as a teammate, I'll take him any day of the week. But the team's bans are also quite important. Yes, they're a bit more standards, having 2 hard butcher bans out, Blackbeard ban because he's a menace as always. Then you've got the Asami, Mira, and Kaid ban, meaning that those are operators that, yes, they don't like to play against them, but they can use them with it's brought. So, I'm going to ask you here real quick. Are you prepared for this? Are you prepared to see what the difference is between Model 1 and Mist? Because, as you said, they're very close teams.
Yeah, I think so. I'd also like to get a look at who the player to watch is for Model 1 because obviously Kid Blade and 11 KDR is insane. I'm guessing it's only through one map given how low just the totals and the numbers are, but still definitely don't want to take anything away from that. And yeah, I think looking at the other side definitely going to give us little bit of a glimpse into how they play this as well. I'd be interested to see if there's any kind of different bands, weird bands. But before that, the rosters for Mist Esports, yeah, just you can see there, Kid Blade is out, so either a sub or not in this set.
I can answer that question immediately. He was a sub. Him, Bellin, and Obsession were only subs. Obsession is the one playing today. As you can see, he stuck himself in the leaderboard, taking West's spot and making sure that he feels at home. Yumzy, Flexo, Obsession, Caden, and Hex are here to put a curse on the enemy. They're here to show up and show them how they can be ninjas, but also how they can dominate. Obsession with the 1.77 KDR will be the man to watch this time round, but that just means there's several playmakers in this team. Caden and Hex being, yes, less kill thirsty, but it's still rising to the challenge when it's needed. Negative KD doesn't mean you're a bad team. It just means you're great at calls and have great information.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of given how many negative KDs we see on that team, just tells you, right, this is going to be the team that's very strat forward, very tech heavy. When you look across that roster, I think it was only Obsession with the positive KDR. And as you said, it's not always a bad thing, right? They're what, 7-1, 7-2 for a reason. Very, very skilled team. And of course, now looking across onto Model 1. Longest loss streak there, 3. That's one we were talking about earlier with the string of forfeits, but yet another player with the small KDR, small sample size in Smash.
You're definitely right about that, and something that I'd love to see so much is instead of being a Blackbeard band main, like that's how their team mains it. No, it's Blitz and Ying. It's the people who are actually going to be impactful in the round if brought in pocket strat because they don't have to worry about it. But as you can see as well, their team win loss has been 4 wins, 3 losses, just because of those forfeits. Meaning that we don't know the full extent of their win. The last match was a forfeit win to Pack Runners, yes, but they're not done. We're gonna have to head on and see the players because Sam's is probably gonna be taken out because he is actually one of the 3 subs of this roster. There's your 4 players. That's the full main stack. Resolve, Reckless, Newt, Chase, and Skota. Who's your man to watch this one? Because in this case, I'm gonna have to say Newt. Yes, he's got a low KD. Yes, he's not been able to play much, but I'm gonna say that's terrifying KPR.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to pick a player to watch when obviously the sample sizes for these players are pretty small so far with playing less matches. I gotta think Reckless, right? One of the higher survival ratings while still putting up a 225 KDR, has a little bit more kills, almost a 1.0 KPR, which is the most, obviously, except for Scuda. But it's really a grab bag, right? There is a lot less to go on this team when we compare it to Misty Esports, when we compare it to most of the other teams in this division. So it's definitely going to be more of a mystery. But more often than not, that can kind of work in your favor.
Definitely right. No VODs to watch this time. No plays to chase. Nothing to worry about one way or the other. People can't be researching if they can't find your information. For now, they have put themselves on a bit of a back foot, though. Everything's going to come down to are they ready to play? So, I'm going to ask you, are you ready? Head on to map bands.
I'm ready. I'm excited to see what's going to come up. And if you can remember all the way back to Misty Esports, right? Their most played map, they only played 2 times. We are now 9 play days in, going on our 10th. Neither of these teams repeat a whole ton of maps. I believe Clubhouse and Chalet were the 2 we saw, though. And Nighthaven Labs as a decider, that's awesome. I love Nighthaven. I think it's an extremely fair map to both sides. It's one of the newer maps, so we're always seeing fun new strats on it. Definitely a good map to go to watch these 2 teams today.
Nighthaven Labs, the new organ, the tester of, hey, how well can you punish your opponent's mistakes? Because strats don't change very much, just the perspective. I'm going to ask you a question. When it comes to your rank stacks, when it comes to your matches, how do you like Nighthaven Labs when you play ranked?
I love it. I don't know. I might be weird in that, but it's definitely one of my favorite maps. It's always interesting to see how teams attack it, and I think it's one of the few maps where the new pick and ban system at least gets a wrench thrown in it. This is a very hard breach heavy map, right? On the top floor, on the bottom floor, you need those external walls open. We see things like Maverick targeted on Nighthaven that really don't get banned anywhere else. Maybe a clubhouse every once in a while, but I think it's much less shield dependent too. And Shield's always going to be good in the meta. This is one of the maps where you don't really need to take a shield operator in order to be effective.
That's true, but those shields can be terrifying. That's why Blackbeard and Blitz are on the bans normally. So, while we wait for the players to get in there, I'm going to ask you 2 quick questions. Simple ones. Who are you going for? Model 1 or are we going with Mist? Who's your team?
I think I'd have to guess Mist. We've just seen more from him, but I think, like we said earlier, it's hard to tell.
That breaks my heart. I'm going to go with Model 1, underdog story. I love it to bits when it comes to Siege. So, we'll be heading into the match, and I'm just hoping, I mean this to bits, I'm hoping I get to see something I can steal for my rank matches. Because, what rank are you? I've got to ask you.
I didn't play ranked at all this season. Last season I was Emerald though. So, yeah.
This man's higher than me. Everyone in chat, I call hacks boosted. Come on, join me. But for now, I'm joking. He's only a little bit better than me. For now, we're going to get into it. The next match of the day, if you aren't prepared, look below. It's Arcus and Rangers Esports, which is still going to be a really good game. Match 3 is the one I'm going to recommend you be there for.
Yeah, I think we've heard definitely going to be one of the better of the night. But all that being said, Playdate number 10, Mist versus Model 1 White, around the corner on Nighthaven. And yeah, I think the new bans have been so much fun, right? Obviously, Siege X has only been out for a couple months, but it really does change the way these teams kind of attack this map. I guess, do you have any pocket picks that you really like seeing banned out on Nighthaven, or is it just kind of standard in your mind?
When it comes to Nighthaven, it's always, because I'm a ranked star, it has to be Maverick, it has to be Kaid, and then just for shits and giggles, I ban Buck. This time, Maverick and Tubrow off the board. That's what I love to see. Taking away two massive pieces of, I'd say congestion, but really things that actually end up hindering any breach charges or slow down the rate of play. These teams want it fast and they want it aggressive. No more weird Swiss cheese strats. It's all about the fast gameplays here. We have Bandit and Blitz now being removed as well. Gotta be prepared.
Yeah, and I like the Bandit ban there from Mist Esports, right? Obviously, I think for the top floor more than the bottom, but keeping that exterior, that IT wall closed is extremely important, right? That opens up, you lose essentially half the second floor just to that crossfire from the outside. And without Bandit, you can really only Kaid trick it. Obviously, there's no Maverick on the board. With the Tuberow ban as well, essentially no way to keep that wall closed as long as you know where that electricity is.
Well, you're right about that. I'm hoping to see something interesting besides just good luck today. A bit of BM, a bit of weirdness. I'm going to ask you, when it comes to Fenrir, he's a very useful operator. He's always banned my ranking, so I don't get to play him much. How do you think his utility can be used best, especially on his top floor side?
Honestly, I think the best way to use it is play for the Fenrir's late, right? Obviously, with them no longer being bulletproof, it's pretty easy for any good droning team to find where they are almost immediately and shoot them out. You see so many times that utility just be useless because it's gone in the first minute. I'm a big fan of keeping them close to sight, and especially on a bomb site like this where it can very often come down to 15 second, 20 second pushes. That's when they're the most effective. So I definitely like playing them close to sight.
I can see that, but for now, we're just going to have to wait for these teams. With the 417 meta being in play, that Lion is going to be a menace. Hopefully, they manage to be able to catch people off and jump into warehouse, because the sound barriers are only set up in one place so far. There's the EMP, burst coming out, the wall's going to get opened. There's no way to trick it, so nothing's going to hide anymore. Just got to be prepared. Hopefully, going to catch out anyone trying to rotate on the other base. Ooh, but we do actually get to see the one below. Try and get that long angle to the player upstairs. But actually, Fenrir gets the kill into one, but he gets refragged immediately. Ash taken out though. Through a wall bang. Beautiful shots, beautiful plays coming out. But Lion's actually flanked from below, getting taken up by Chase. It becomes Yumzy answering his own question and takes out one to even the odds, becoming a 2v3.
Already the gunshots flying from both these teams. Mist gets worse as Yumzy pretty low, so in a 2-on-3 for the time being, Model 1 can just kind of sit back. I think luckily for Mist though, they're able to open that exterior wall, but they need to push Chase out. If Heximo tries to go through this wall, they're going to die. It's going to have to be Yumzy trying to hunt them down, or one of them rather, to push them out of the first floor. Otherwise, we'll mine with a very, very easy lineup here.
I do believe you're right about that. I just don't think they've droned it. The only reason I thought Yumzy was there was because he took out the Blackbeard. They might still think he's below, but he's not. Chase gets his pick. It makes it a 1v3. have to either go for this kite and make it pick off an early mistake. Now he is not safe to jump through, and he should have the call out. Does not matter. Scotta's got ahead. He takes it right off.
Nice shots there to end the round from the Mew, and a really good opening round by Model 1. Mist tried to just push that so early, right? They essentially rushed the top of garage, which it can work sometimes, but they had the IT wall open. I'm a little surprised they didn't, take a beat, take a little more time, try to establish those crossfires. They kind of all push into the player at the top of garage. Didn't even take the time to drone out bottom where Chase was sitting. It was a good defense from Model 1 White, but gotta think Mist maybe misplayed that opening attack.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
I do believe you're right with that. Would you say that this map is more defender-sided or attacker-sided? Just from your top of your head, not from statistics.
Probably defenders, but I do think it's one of the more even ones.
I would say it's more even, especially with how these two teams play. I have a feeling that Model 1 might be better, especially on attack for this sort of map, while Mist might be better on defense. Now we're just gonna have to see if that comes true, or if I'm just talking complete nonsense and they're gonna show me up right now. Because something I do like to see is these different operator pick lineups. I get to see more diversity. I get to see a Maestro, a Clash, and a Goyo all being played, not just because they're letting the walls get open, but because they're planning, hey, whatever you bring for post plant, we're going to be able to shut it down.
Yeah, I definitely like this operator lineup for Model 1 because of the bans, right? They know there's no way they're keeping those basement walls closed, so might as well play for the open. Maestro Clash certainly going to factor into that one big time. And I think more often than not, instead of looking at offense and defense and which side is better, it comes down to which team's more comfortable, right? There are some teams that just hate high-haven walls, they don't play well on it. It seems like, given that we're going to it, both these teams are going to be alright. We're going to have to wait to see. It's a little odd, only the Clash off-site, not a real big first-floor presence here from Model 1. You don't really need it on the site, but given there's a ram on the other side, definitely could use that extra time. Those vertical angles are going to get opened up very, very soon.
You're definitely right about that. We can see the first 3 little drones going to work. Hopefully, they are prepared for this one. If those long angles aren't open, and as you can see now, these breach charges are going to go off. It's going to be a bit more dangerous to stay in sight. Having only 2 people off-site, one being in vending, which is very shallow, and the other one being in kitchen, I don't think that's the play, especially when Ash can destroy all of your gadgets, including your Goyos, very early. Yep, he's got his head stuck there. Come on, Ace. You gotta push in. You're one of the main factors now for this. I'm gonna ask you a very simple question. Do you think that this flank might actually work? You can hear the IQ coming close, but I don't think they know exactly where each other are.
Oh. Wow, Maestro can't lose that as both go down. The flank works for the attack there as Obsession takes down both. When they look past the Maestro, thought for sure it was over, but instead all the dominoes falling now for Model 1. There goes Reckless. Newt hits the floor as well. It's all on Scuda, who was your player to watch. We'll see. Or no, sorry, that was Newt. We'll see if Scuda is able to get this one done here in a 1v5. All the attackers starting to spill into sight. Definitely a long shot for Defender.
Well, he's got the information, he's got the cause, he can hear that somebody whoever's upstairs is jumping outside. He cannot hear that the diffuser is going down though, so he's got to be prepared for whatever gunfight's coming into play. Gets the Ash, getting his first huge pick, but somebody's outside the breach, cannot save it. Ace takes him out as Fenrir off the board.
Good shots there from Scuda, unfortunately just, a completely unwinnable situation, right? The 1v5 post plant. It's not very likely when the walls are open, the vert is open, does everything they can. So now we kind of seen 2 big rounds, right? One by Model White on defense, one by Mist on attack. Granted, I think that Mist attack was just broken wide open from Obsession's double kill there on the first floor. If that's your only roam game, you can't both die with no refrag, just recipe for loss there, unfortunately, in that round for Model White. Now they're going to go upstairs to the kitchen. And this one, I always feel weird when teams go to the first floor, right? Because you lost the basement, but basement is, I think, undeniably better than both of these first floor sites.
I'm going to say yes, but I'm also going to say no. In the case of whether you're prepared or not for it, and you actually strat it out, nobody attacks kitchen that often. Not a lot of teams practice it, so you might catch it off as like a silent pick. But you're probably going to be right from what I'm saying here. Mist doesn't even change their operator lineup. They had a feeling they wouldn't go back downstairs. It looks like that is going to be the case. They're going to know about it and they're going to be prepared to push it. I do love the run-out reinforcement. I still risk this even on line games, and I'm sure you do too.
Securing the floor!
Of course, right? You kind of have to. I mean, I don't even know how many teams push that direction, but you have to.
Reloading!
Low risk, high reward. It's perfect, especially if there's a K in the board, which there still is. He hasn't been banned yet, and that third ban might be the option. But the fact that they didn't actually reinforce this wall kind of puts them in a different state. That terrace wall is very important, especially if you're trying to hold upstairs.
Yeah, the upstairs is notoriously difficult to hold on this map. You really got to know what you're doing on the roam, which, if you do know what you're doing, normally able to hold it pretty effectively. But look at the pace that they're moving through. Ram is already in the first engagement. We'll lose it, rather, to Scuda as Flexo. It's Resolver. So in a 4-4, no real refrag from either team, but Mist making a lot of ground here.
You're right about that, and it does look like the Scuda. She's going to watch that hatch. Hopefully trying to get this Ram, but Ram actually hits the Legion Goon mine that was initially there to protect him. It just didn't work out in his favor. 4-on-4 situation like this is not what you want to be, but 4-on-3 is definitely even worse. Jaeger being taken out, but luckily refragged by Skoda. Again, the one you said to watch last round, he is working out well.
And now Chase gonna get another as well, so both the guns up the stairs swinging for Model 1, who are now in a 3-on-2, and for Mist. It's a good 2 left, right? Thatcher and Ace can open up this main wall, which it looks like that's the side they're pivoting to. Now they have to be careful, because Chase is right at the top of these stairs. Without the Ash, without the Ram, is going to be a nightmare to clear out of this deployable shield.
You're right about the nightmare, especially having 3 operators left. All on site, not even have to worry about it. Kitchen is one of the few sites that has a direct line of sight, so you can just rush it through the window. You know you're in trouble, especially if there's a frost on the board. You can't just be risking windows. But now I'm hoping they have a plan with 45 seconds left. Jumps in. Can't get the wall because it's cated, but there's Thatcher being taken off the board just as I was going to call him to help. And now he's got to find this Frost. They're playing Ring Around the Rosies and not been found. Frost finds his own and finishes the round for the defenders. Ace is out of here.
Good shots there from the defense as Model 1 puts up yet another strong round. So who knows, maybe it was a one-off from Mist there on their attacking round. Only time will tell. As we move into round 4, last man before the swap. And Model 1 can go back upstairs now. So maybe this is where we see that Kaid banned out, but at the same time, they've been getting those walls opened with no real problem from the attack. It's definitely interested to see where they go. Something like a Fenrir ban could also absolutely be on the table. But no, they are going to ban out the Kaid. Little surprising.
Well, I'm happy you're surprised because now I think they're going to show us something that's a bit more by the book. Having Legion mute Asami seemed like a... Well, never mind. Asami is switched for Legion. Miro's being brought in with Fenrir and Romai. So, maybe it is by the book, maybe it's not, because we're going back upstairs. It wasn't the exact same as this, I don't believe.
Attackers need to
They
locate
might
and
have
defuse
something
as many
in there.
bombs as they
Fine.
can.
They might have something saved. Because there's 2 things I'm worried about. The fact that we've seen how this team works when it's going with surprise plays, weird rotations, things like that. I'm wondering what they've got here. Are they just going to have Mirror completely open all the walls and just pre-fire? Or are they even going to care?
Yeah, definitely interested to see how they approach this one. Twitch taken as of right now by Flexo, so definitely the good pick against the Mira. And yeah, of course, now that you only have this mute holding the wall closed, you don't really need a Thatcher. You can get by with just impact EMPs, but they go away from the Twitch.
5 seconds to go.
A little surprising. Gonna go, or 6 pick off to the line, so those impact EMPs will be enough to open the exterior wall. But I'm a little worried. When we look at raw utility, they're gonna have almost nothing to clear out those zombie barricades, to pop the Mira, to clear out any of these Wamai magnets. Not a whole ton outside just some shotguns and some scans.
I do think you're right about that, so you're just gonna have to wait and hope. Right now, they're being prepared. Buck's already inventing down below, which is a good start, especially if you want to try and take that downstairs and shoot upwards. I don't think he's droned it to find another player, but he luckily misses his shots. For now, Buck is in this engagement now, trying to take out the Somai.
Yeah, and surprising there, Wamai played the same spot last round. Didn't quite look like the Buck was prepared for it. Maybe thought it to be different, but of course now knowing that Chase is there, Caden's can push a little more effectively. As a Buck will start to brush forward. Cadence gets taken down by Scuda from the second floor, hitting the shots through the floorboards as Obsession loses a large chunk. Also, and Obsessions will go down, Resolver with the kill. Chase finally falls to Flexo. So we're able to pinch that Wamai, and now looking for the second operator downstairs. Should see the Mira. It's the air jab, but they're looking at the wrong side. Resolver just needs to look to his right. Flexo, swing this hallway, should get the kill, and he does. Back to a 3-on-3. Good response from Mist.
Now Dokebi just has to hack those cameras, and nothing is for the defenders. Making a 3v3, especially in the last minute of the round, they've not let themselves a lot of time. Things are going to have to get electric quickly, and they're going to have to open up as much as they can. Dokebi already on Aqua door, just being prepared for any sort of gunfight while waiting for the rotate.
Time ticking low, just 1 minute remaining for either of these teams to make a real big swing in their favor. Flexo pushing up, still has 1 Logic Bomb and 2 Alliance scans on top of that, so they can lock down Model 1. Now comes the problem, only 1 real frag grenade, you have a couple of smokes. It's going to be a lot of walking through doorways. It's Thermite has used both his charges as well. Reckless here on the swing, needs to hit this shot. There's 1 player pushing up. Should swing, will get it now. There goes Flexo. Can they get the second? No. Hexamo takes that one down 2-on-2. Make it a 2-on-1 as Scuda falls. Double for the Thermite. What a shot from Newt, and down into the 1v1. Seconds remaining. Newt gonna shoot out that camera. There is enough time for this Thermite, but he's gonna have to get the kill after 2. Plant to bait. Just needs a couple of shots onto this Azami. A very high-powered rifle in his hands. Look at Newt on the other side. Can't hit the planter. Hexamo is going to get this bomb down, but he's going to be locked in place. Needs to hit these shots. Takes one to the shoulder, and Hexamo gets it done. 3 for the Thermite and the round-saving frag. What a play by the hard breach.
Gotta say, that's really smart. Most players understand that, hey, your character immediately stands up while the plant is going down just after it ends. But if you're holding the crouch as it goes down, you type away on the keyboard and you'll return back to that counter position as long as you hold it while it's going down. That's just good game knowledge and good game sense. It's working out really well on the side of Mist, clutching out the round for their team. Is there anything you want to see or don't want to see? Because right now, I'm hoping that we get to see a more direct push where we get to see those Gora caches coming in effectively, because that first full hold wasn't very strong last time. Maybe they've got something that they really wanted to show us and they got shut down early. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think honestly just a little more, I don't know if it's the right word, but awareness by the defense. I mean, it didn't look like, I forget if it was Resolver or not, that was on the Meister back in round number 2. Just not prepared at all for IQ to walk in that doorway. The Clash was facing the wrong way. It just looked like Model 1 weren't expecting the push from Kitchen when they should have been, and that kind of threw a whole wrench in the defense, right? All their own game shut down, 2-man swing within milliseconds, just can't happen again.
And I'm gonna say I do believe you're right about that. Especially, I do think it was the same Resolver and Chase being prepared for that first 4. But this time, I don't think they're worrying about it. I think Resolver's just gonna go back and sit on site. Stay on with Nanotech while we hopefully have Fenrir roaming this time. Somebody who I would like to see more of. Spawn Pig would be nice, but I don't think he's gonna get it. Oh, it's Mute jammed, so for now, Mute will have those knowledge of, hey, my gadget is gonna get something. If we can either press tab and check the points, or just going out and seeing if there's a gadget only on his router. I was gonna say, what do you call Mute's gadget? What do you call it?
I just call it a jammer, you know? Simple, straight to the point. Yeah, jammer. Sometimes you call it the Wi-Fi router.
There.
I get it.
Ooh.
Come on. Great shot.
I want to cry. I watched Reckless dance his way to death while trying to hear the explosion, hoping the player would drop, but it did not work out in his favor. You have to be prepared for that and not put yourself in a bad state. A 4v5 is what he's left his team, especially with 2 minutes left. Luckily, it's the person with a passive gadget which can be detonated by anybody. But for now, He's going to be on cams. Hopefully he can get some calls to help some of their almost get an early pick or shut down any of this above play. Right now, this buck is going to become devastating to the enemy team.
Yeah, they should of course know that Flexo's upstairs, and with a minute and a half, they have time to maybe send somebody on a flank, try to kill them. Chase is still upstairs on that clash, could theoretically, you know, make their way into the room, try to get a frag onto the buck. Problem is, main breach is open. It looks like Thermite actually going to be on the sidewall. They're looking for another tank point. That's where they got it last time. I think Scuda is in a little more trouble than they realize in this position. Really needs to get out of there as Chase falls, so no upstairs presence. You say that though, Newt has made his way upstairs. Should die soon if they have any flamethrowers, but instead gets a kill off to Yunzi. That will certainly signal the rest of the attack. Flexo finishes off Chase. Newt is still upstairs in storage, leaving only Resolver on site. And Newt's in trouble, can't even get back. They know exactly where this mute is. All going to be on Resolver to stop Hexamo here, who's sitting in Animus. Needs to get this kill.
All right about this.
His barrel gets the kill.
Oh, I've been breaking, crying over this. It's going to get electric. It's going to have to be.
Oh, good opening kill from Resolver. But shut down immediately. Cadence with that credit. Newt is going to need the next two, so we'll have to be a quadra from Newt in order to save this round. Hexamo puts it down now, can just run back outside and wait out the clock. But instead, what a spray onto Thermite. It's a triple from Newt. Last one remaining is Cadence through the wall, just a little ambitious. Walking out, can try the misdirection, and it'll work. It's a quadra for the mute. Round saving for Newt, and Model 1 White goes up 3-2.
I just want to say, I understand how that started, but give us a readback of what actually happened. Started with the buck. Maestro got taken out. They went back to site. Newt gets the last three as well and clutches the round. Give me a quick rundown of what actually went on.
I mean, it just seems like they really didn't factor Newt in all that heavy, right? They let him walk back up the stairs. Surely they had flank drones and they maybe just weren't watching because a lot of people were alive, but allowed the mute to go get a kill and really just kind of forgot about him. They turned all their attention to sight and kind of didn't worry about the one thing that could stab him in the back.
Well, you're right like that. It felt like Caesar right there. And now, hoping they've got an answer to this kitchen. Last time they didn't get close to it or even get into it, which is gonna be Mist's problem again. They're on the final round before the round rotation swap, which, if anything, Mist has put themselves in the best position for, but a 4-2 split would be nicer for Model 1. I don't think that's what Mist wants to give them.
Going to be a very important round for the attackers. We commented a lot, right, on how even this map could be on offense. Defense really isn't the largest issue in the world, but if the defense gets 4, it's well within the realm of possibilities. The Model 1 White puts up 3 on attack. If I miss, you want to even it here. You already, I believe they were the team that won Kitchen, right? No, sorry, they lost Kitchen last time.
No. Model 1 has won Kitchen last time. They got it quite handedly. So now it's going to have to come up to Mist to either show that, hey, we know how to attack this, but I'm also worried that they don't.
Yeah, it can be a deceptively tough site to attack, but normally once you get top floor control of the room right by the Frost here, that big conference room, you're able to do a lot. You can tear open the floorboards. You can see basically the entire site. We didn't see a whole ton of focus onto Chase last time that Missy Esports attacked this site. I think they have to now, right? It was the only problem. Scuda goes down, so there's a big problem for Model 1 White. You see where the Legion is, and Legion does turn around, did manage to hear the drone. I don't know why Flexo didn't just run through and shoot, but now Legion gonna have to rotate on the pings so they know exactly where Resolver is. Flexo should win this fight. Chase stepping out aggressively, and the player on drone will make their way off. Resolver wins the fight because of that. Shutting down the shield player could just be worth it. 3v3 with 1:45 to go.
Oh, I want a heartbreak. They're being too aggressive and making mistakes. They've been showing the play style. Be aggressive, fight, yes. But they're not playing smart right now. They're just trying to play fast and catch people off guard with their mistakes, but that's not how this match is played. You gotta be prepared, yes. You gotta catch people off with weird adaptability, but if you're just playing weird, it's gonna shut you down quickly. Just like the Legion hiding upstairs, he's shot in the back because he wasn't prepared. He didn't think there's any other drones watching him. But It's not the case, and for now, we get to see Reckless with a shotgun in hand, hopefully trying to peek this Nomad. But he doesn't know about the fact that there's still players who can be upstairs in other places. Doesn't matter, answers with a shotgun from range, takes out Nomad. Comes a 2v2, 1 minute left. All defenders now back in sight. They know there's still attackers outside of A. They're just going to have to push and decide how things are going to be played. I'm going to ask you this. How's this going to be going?
It's a little difficult to say, right? I mean, the top fragger and the mute with that SMG-11 still up. And they do have their Herb Breacher left and Impact EMPs. It can honestly swing either way, but given the time, gotta expect that Model 1 White are going to be able to take this one. Logic Bomb should help. But if the attack wants to open a wall, they are going to pigeonhole themselves into that push. The remainder of the time, it's going to be one big player here lying down prone behind the tables. Believe it's going to be New on that Jaeger and needs to find some kills here. Camera should give it away and the sidewall will get open, but they're going to have less than 5 seconds to make this push when that wall opens up. Camera taken down by Yumsy. Definitely a good move. And there they go. Reckless with the kill onto Hexamo. And they have to push in and it won't work. Double from the mute. Model 1 White take the half 4-2 in convincing fashion.
Gotta say, I'm not sure how I feel because Model 1, just that SMG-11 in hand, is doing work. But now, I don't think there's any, what I'd say, top fraggers. It's just they're all good players. A bit too aggressive on some hands. Their itchy trigger fingers working against them. For now, well, let's see what the bans are. How do you think these are going to be different, or do you think they're going to be the same?
I don't know. I would expect Model 1 White to maybe play it a little differently than the way Mist did with their bans. Kind of unexpected, right, to go for the tuber on the ban at first, and indeed Kaid off the board. Blackbeard ban is interesting, right? Model 1 White did not ban out Blackbeard on their defense, and it was played a grand total of 0 times by Mist Esports. Maybe they're just not Blackbeard players, but on the contrary, don't know anything to indicate that Model 1 White is, so probably just preference there. Second ban's gonna ring through, and won't be massive surprises. Clash and Ace taken out.
No, I'm going to say I do think that lines up with a bit more of what we've seen in the statistics earlier. Blackbeard being taken off the board and Ace, showing that, hey, these are two operators that we do like to bring. We're going to take out the opponents just because we've done our research. Here comes the problem. Ella, Mira, Wamai, Sami, and Smoke going upstairs. I'm not sure how I feel about the fact there's no bandit, there's no mute.
Defenders
Really, they're just hoping for, hey, yeah, things are going to get open, but we've got the guns on Ella, or we have the gadgets to shut it down quickly. I'm going to say, how do you call Mira's Mirror? Because I understand it's technically called Black Mirror, but I've always just called it the mirror window, or the window to your soul.
I literally just call it a mirror. I mean, it's the shortest, it's the easiest, but you know, the mirror to the soul, window to the soul is a pretty dope call out. I would butcher that so bad though if I'm trying to like scream where I died from. Mirror to my soul, mirror to my soul.
Well, see if you're right about that, or if we're gonna have to see if these players can hopefully pop those mirrors and take you to heaven. And now, we got a couple things to worry about. They haven't reinforced the far side of sight, and there is a rush coming. If this mirror cannot get the second one up in time, it should be taken out early. Or they're just gonna leave it soft. No, Mutes went for it. Sorry, Smoke has went for it. He's gonna try his best to get it. I don't think they're actually gonna be prepared for this offside push. If they can take off as much of Cafeteria and walk straight through without any hesitation, like they're doing, that is a lot of phantom pressure gone. The map is basically open. They understand that there's nothing really to stop them. Take out the cameras, go below, and destroy everything. Floor bang perfectly coming out and resolved. Does take a little bit of HP damage. Huge pick to lose Wamai, especially when his gadget charges over time.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good one for Model 1 White. And of course, Hexamo there, 7-5. Top kills for Mist, very much powering the team forward. You get a kill here, though, as Cadence just gets a bit quicker, but no, they make it away, and the impact grenade is late as well. Really nice play there from Reckless on that wall. This Flexo takes a little bit of damage from downstairs, but nothing to be too concerned about for this is all. Good pick.
Gotta love that holes work both ways. If you make a hole in the floor, they can shoot you back through it. So be prepared. Not making it a 4v4 is much better state. Yumsy losing Smoke so early, but the trades are coming after one after another. Thermite gets his own. Aiden's being taken out. But the problem, you know, on a 3 versus 2, B wall can be breached. And they'll come into pillar. Hopefully you've got the range in the sight.
It's going to be a very big, very important wall here for the attack. 2 defenders left in relatively safe position is Obsession. Flexo, a little bit more difficult for Wear, but it doesn't look like any attackers coming through the garage side. Instead, they're all going to be pushing connector. See how quickly they can get this plan up. There's more than a minute left. 3 Candelas remaining. Now Scuda is in. They have to rush a planter. It's a double for New. Down goes Obsession. It's all onto Flexo. Blow up the wall and should find the thermite if they attempt to run out. Now No Man's Land blinded as well. It's just a matter of time. Time is now.
Oh, that could have went horribly wrong. They all lined up. If the pre-fire had went slightly faster here, that could have went horribly wrong for everyone. Just understand, anyone who joins on my future round games, don't do that. Have maybe Thermite push it because he wants to be aggressive, but then the other two just hang back and guarantee the victory. But 2-5, 2 rounds away from Model 1 taking out. Remember, this is a best of 1. Any more mistakes from Mist cannot be tolerated. The only way to win after that would be going to overtime. But that's not how it wants to work. You want to win with relegation. So, here we go. From now on, we have a Sammy Obsession with Castle, Mute on Hex, Flex on Legion, and a Bandit with Yums. This is not what you want to see, because right now, they're planning on slowing down the attackers as much as they can. And I'm going to say this quite nicely, as well, unless as I can. It's going with the default strats. They've got to have something interesting here, because it looks like they're going to try and keep the attackers out of sight using Bandit and Mute, which is nice, but if they just rush or get their way into sight, you don't really have the gadgets except for the C4 in pockets to really stop any plants.
Yeah, very true. Definitely a little in-game utility light there from Mist Esports, but given how quickly Model 1 White made the attack last time, right? You know, they were doing their final execute with about a minute left. I definitely don't hate the play because you need to stall out more, right? Zombie will do that, Legion will do that. The other 3 will not really do that, but you got a couple there, so it's kind of nice.
Well, I hope they're ready to use the 6th defender to the best of their ability, because they've left the hatch open, which again, if they just take upstairs control, walk straight through, there's nothing they have to be worried about. And that's it. First pick, Legion, actually taking out Newt. That's a good roam stop. So for now, Nomad being taken off the board means that the defenders have a lot more control over roaming. It's just up to the Jackal to stop them.
We'll see if they're able to do that, obviously. Jackal reworked, so not quite as good as he used to be, but still very useful as Resolver. Going to be using that PDW as well. They know where the Azami is inside of top. They'll take him down. Chase with the kill from the side. Really nice angle there from the butt. Getting that done. Back into a 4-on-4, but Azami does a job. Waste of time. 1 minute gone. It's Model 1 White going to have to continue to push forward, and this is going to be not the top site, so they'll definitely have to make up a lot of ground. This is odd. We don't see this always. All the defenders are not on site. They're all playing a floor above. I like this play from Mist. It's gutsy.
It's very high risk, high reward, but it can work out in their favor as long as the attackers don't know to rush site. Now they're clearing out as much as they can. Hopefully this Mute can actually get the puck. If not, Legion does back up the Mute and keeps him safe, and now they can rotate back to site. Huge time spent. Legion does have another good man in pocket, but there we go. The attackers do have their little diffuser back in pocket. 3-on-3 with a minute left. I think things are going to be a bit more electric now.
1 minute left to play. Model 1 White needs to make up a little bit of ground. They have forced all the defenders back into the basement, so that's going to be good for them at least. Ping from Bandit. Wow, if you got the AR out there, that's a kill. But regardless, it's going to send Yumsy right into the path of Reckless. You guys to that Bandit. So now Chase and Resolver, 2 good players, 2 good guns still on the board. So it's possible, but with only 30 seconds left, now the defenders are at a point where they can just sit and wait.
Right about that, and they might just do it. 30 seconds left. They could win this round just by using that defender, that little timer, taking down, or just shoot through the floor. Never mind. Legion being an absolute menace when it comes to floorboards. And Yumsy answers with his own, taking out the last player and saving them into a 3-5.
Really good round there from Mist Esports. Not like their traditional way to play the basement, right? Heavy, heavy, heavy offsite presence. They really don't even let the attack get into the basement at all, which, when you only have one denial op, a little odd that we didn't see Model 1 White choose to kind of go through the main wall, the main breach, and try for anything, but things should teach him for next time, as of course now they are going to bring a Thermite, as we're going to reattempt the top floor here from Mist.
Attackers need to locate
Well, I'm
and
happy to
defuse
say that
any bombs
because
as they can.
top floor site is one of the better sites in this game mode, especially when it comes to this map. When you're upstairs, you don't have to worry about fuse charges, you don't have to worry about people being above, only people coming from below, such as Buck or someone with a shotgun. Deimos is actually a very good operator for this. The fact that we're not seeing much Deimos though tells me that Model 1 might not be used to. I'm hoping they've got something planned with the idea of using Buck, but also using Grim. For now, I'm going to ask you a simple question. Would you rather have a Buck or a Deimos when you're trying to hunt somebody from the floor?
10 seconds to go.
I mean, probably a Deimos, but I think the Buck play we've seen this game is good enough to maybe suggest we don't need it. Being said, I do not agree with the Jackal. I like Jackal a lot, but when you have the Deimos on ban, the Jackal's an odd choice to me.
I do agree, especially when you've got Grim or Dokebi still on the board. If they're banned, then maybe I can kind of see Jackal being brought, but not in this case. For now, we do have to see whether or not this could be a rush strat. They're all the attacking players are trying to get in a position quickly, so you might actually see them just attack, as we've seen before, quick, fast, and hard. They could be going from the back here, looking into offices, but as they know, they are prepared for any sort of downstairs pushes.
See what the play is, and Buck dies first. Should have brought a Deimos. Obsession takes down Resolver, who, despite a hot start to the game, is having a little bit of trouble here on the attack. Mira going to be popped very late, while should come up, and sounds like it does there from Reckless. Newt taking a lot of damage and will go down to Flexo on the flank. And just like that, Mist Esports are throwing themselves back into contention here, but a nice refrag from Chase.
Oh, you're right about that. It looks lovely to see, but a 4-3, especially on the side of Mist, is the better position to be in. Only concern's going to be, are they going to get too aggressive again? You can see how close the mute is, but he actually... he was too fast. He was too quick with it, and he got peaked early. It became a 2v3 very quickly. Thermite getting his own pick. Hoping that they are prepared for this. They've got the range. Now, they can't forget about electrical, and they can't forget anyone near pillar. Caden's waiting close beside B-bomb, hopefully trying to get this Thermite when he comes to the door. Greyfire misses him. Oh, it just did not work in their favor. Obsession actually gets taken out in the exchange instead. It's not how you want to play it. And there's the Incandela goes out. Ying takes off Ella, and now it's just up to the mute. But the C4 rings out and gets. It's just one after another with this team.
And Thermite now has smoke grenades and no C4 from the mute. So it's going to be a very mono-on-mono matchup. The last round could come out from the Thermite just to get a little bit of info on the mute. And should see him there in the corner. Has a gun for the distance of this engagement. Will they land the shot? Sees the shoulder but can't hit it. Scuda is in. Hexamo is now down onto one shot. Gonna have to play the waiting game. One bullet will do it for either player. They're dancing around, and the pistol beats shotgun. Scuda with the kill. Model 1 on to match point. What a finish that was.
If everyone remembers the line, switching to your secondary is always faster than reloading, that has never been more true. I'm sorry, but that broke me just a little bit to see that.
Yeah, that was crazy. I could not have guessed that's how we're gonna end. Both getting lowered to 1 HP, both on the Dream, and the pistol over the shotgun short range. Wouldn't have guessed it in a million years.
Well, you're gonna have to guess this ban. For now, we've got Thermite and Mirror. That is a target ban if I've seen it. Good bans. Perfect for this map. Losing 2 hard breachers, especially Thermite, who can make a big hole. And Mira, who's just being an absolute menace, posting mirrors up to stop any tricks possible. For now, though, we have a bit of a different problem coming up. We're going back upstairs. Warden, Bandit, Mute, Asami, and Smoke.
Defenders, protect your bombs from
I
being
do like the
defused
fact that
by
we get to see the
attackers.
Warden switch out, so any flashes, smokes, or yings. They've understood that Mist likes to bring anything that can stop them from using their candelas, but doesn't outright thwart them. Now they've actually done that. Warden is the direct challenge, but you can still lose that gunfight. Oh, never mind. It doesn't answer. They've answered my own point. Reckless switching from being to Capitao. Chase bringing Hughes. And we get to see Newton Thermite. That wall will be open one way or another. There's no way of stopping that.
I gotta say, I'm a little confused that Mist banned out Thermite instead of the Ying. Like, granted, Thermite's good. Now you kind of force him onto the smaller hard breachers, right? It can be a little bit more difficult to get those walls open. They're slower as well, so Bandit can find something to trick. But the Ying has really cracked this defense open like an egg the last 2 rounds. He just had some really good kills to bring it back the round before.
I do think it is just the comfort of having 2 hard breachers banned when it's not your attack. Well, sorry, when it's your defense. Probably what won them over. For now, I'm more concerned about what this plan is. The pre-fire rings out, does not get the Sammy because the keeper barrier is set up. But Sammy's there prepared, waiting, trying to go for that quick lane to get any attacker that's waiting, trying to be a little bit of a nuisance. Now, drones are being destroyed, breaching gadgets are stopped in their tracks. I'm not sure how I feel about this, but the quick lane keeps happening and Skoda wins it. Which is painful to see, a 4v5 to start us.
Yeah, and especially the Izami again, right? The operator that gets a better time down first. And yeah, this Bandit is going to be a problem for the Hibana. One more defender goes down, though, so the distraction is working. He should be able to get the Bandit. He's trapped in the room, and Obsession goes down. Chase is just in the sight, straight up balling. It is all on Cadence, and it's flawless. Model 1 White take the game.
I understand now why they brought Fuse, just that Russian power destroying them at the moment. Something that terrifying to see, a 7th victory for Model 1, especially when Mist was the one that had the stats. Didn't matter in this case, you always have to be prepared for that. And stats don't tell stories. The match, the streams, those tell stories. Looking at the scoreboard to end it, fair play. I'm hopefully going to show you stats in a second, but I'm going to ask you, what did you actually think of the match yourself?
I thought it was kind of like we predicted. I think it was a little closer than the scoreline really shows, 7-3. It definitely felt closer than that at times. I didn't expect how just back and forth the rounds were going to be, right? We only probably saw, 3, maybe 4 close rounds. The rest were just kind of sweeps to one side or the other. But I think the thing that rings true, we talked about this on Mist in the start of the game, the pregame, right? When we were looking at their stats. Only one of them had a positive KDR. It was Obsession instead of Hexamo. Most go negative. This is a strat heavy team, and the kills, I think, really just kind of hurt them in the end, because when you look across to the other side, Resolver, the only one negative, it was clear, right? The kills kind of drove this game forward today.
Well, I do believe you're right about that, especially when it comes to the entries. So now I'm going to have to ask you just another quick question. You've seen the match, you've seen the plays. Which team do you think is going to be prepared for the next matches? Because I'm excited for Mist, but I'm also worried for them. They've shown how they can do it. They've shown how well their strats are, their plants. They tried their best to go for more of them. But here's the thing. Model 1 actually did better when it came to plants and other things like that. 1vx clutches. Way too many to count for both sides, especially for strat teams. But it just came out to, hey, we have the gun skill, we have the memory, we know the map, and they punish the mistakes over and over and over. No drone phase, no good drone economy. I'm hoping they'll learn the lesson.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Model 1 White, right, can continue to go. We talked about how their stats were skewed a little bit just by some of the forfeits, but all their wins, they have taken in stride, right? They have won their games by a lot. This one's no different. 7-3 scoreline. Definitely one of the biggest losses for Mist. I think they had a couple rough ones, but they're still at 7-3, right? We saw that playoff bracket before this started. Mist were at 2nd, Model 1 all the way down in 6th. This game is not going to affect the playoffs for them, right? They are both still going to be in that top 7. Where they are is going to take a little bit to be determined, so I'm going to have to get back later on how that will affect standings. These are still 2 teams that are good, that know what to do, right? That have what it takes to win. I think it just makes me more excited for the playoffs, right? Knowing that these calibers of teams should still be making it in. Definitely a good sign for kind of the competitive lifeblood of the rest of the season.
Couldn't agree more. But for now, we're probably going to have to go for a break in a minute. I just want everyone to be prepared for the next match. As you can see it there down below us, we've got Arcus versus Rangers, which, again, I'm not going to be spoiling or tuning my own horn. Arcus are a great team, Rangers as well, but I really want to hope to see what map we go to, because if it's a good map such as Consulate, Cafe, or something like that, our observer's going to have a field day trying to keep track of all the aggression, and I'm going to laugh my head off watching the spawn pigs come out. Both aggressive teams, both great teams. So, anything you want to say before we head to break?
Just good game once again to both Mist and Model 1, and I think, like you said, 2 more great teams coming up, so make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the other side of this break with Arcus taking on the U.S. Army Esports. Welcome back in for game number 2 of the night. I'm Kingfisher, joined again by Star Drago. In case you missed it, we just had Mono 1 White taking down Mist Esports 7-3. And now on to one of the best games of the night, right? Arcus taking on US Army Esports. Should be an incredible matchup. They only get better and better with time. And if game number 1 was any indication, game number 2 is going to be one for the books.
You're definitely right about that, and I do have to apologize. I called you US at Rangers. That's the other team. My mistake. I forget there's Armies, Navy, and Rangers. For now, US Army. I'm looking forward to how you guys play. We do have the stats in front of us. We do have the statistics, but let's go see that head-to-head.
Yeah, and of course, the
Ooh.
numbers kind of speak for themselves when you look at it, right? 3rd and 8th, pretty far apart, but the percentages are up for Army, right? Better defender win, better attacker win. 51% plant rate is insane, by the way. That is nuts.
I'm not sure how I'm feeling about that round differential, but I'm hoping there's more to the story. Maybe a couple forfeit wins, maybe a couple losses. Just some things that don't make sense. Because for now, we're just going to have to wait and see. These teams are known for being better. Arcus, I can say when it comes to SkylineGG, is normally great matches. So hopefully we do get to see something terrifying or that's upsetting again, because this last 2 matches have been a bit of an up and down. So I'm going to ask you a quick question before we head on to the next teams. Who's your stat? Who's the person you're looking at to win?
It has to be US Army, right? I mean, it's my first week here. I don't know these teams enough, but just from the numbers, US Army appears to be the more complete roster on paper. But that being said, right, that's all stats, obviously. I haven't seen enough from either of these teams to say for sure. And looking at Arcus, there are some good numbers. I mean, recoil, 1.14 KDR, almost a kill per round. Survival, maybe a bit lower than you love. But the thing that is surprising me, Maverick in the top bands of attack. I really think Maverick's only worth a ban on 2, maybe 3 maps. So that's a little odd to see. Maybe this is a team that just heavily dislikes Maverick.
Well, their most played map is Chalet, and again, I do not like Maverick on Chalet, especially if I'm going against that basement bomb site, so maybe it's just for that. Maybe we're about to see something different when we head into our actual map and we get to find out what it is. But let's go see the players for Team Arcus. Recoil, Oak, Brendan. Is Brandon? I'm not sure how you pronounce that in the US, but Brendan. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
CJ and Azo. Again, when you look at their stats, they're not much on paper, but when you look at their just, as you can see, KDR, KDR, KDR. Almost all the top 3 players are positive except for Brendan. CJ and Azo being the playmakers as always, probably the ones on cameras. That survivability rate probably does help to that as well. Maybe there's more to the story. And again, these are just stats. They don't tell the whole story. You can guess, but you cannot do anything else. Let's head over to Team 2 and hopefully we'll get to see something weird. US Army, we've got Palpatine being their player. 10 kills, 0 deaths, a KDR of 10. That is terrifying. But I do believe these stats are slightly off because Palpatine is their sub player today. But he is a player to watch. You don't know much about them. They do love Nighthaven Labs. I'm going to ask you a quick question since it's Nighthaven Labs and they have a 100% win rate on that, especially with a 70% on attack. This seems like a team where no matter where you take them, they're going to take you to church.
Yeah, it seems that way, right? And the percentages are nuts too. This is a team that's very confident on Nighthaven. I think because of that, I'd imagine they don't let them play Nighthaven, right? If I'm Arcus, I'm absolutely banning it out. And a little unfortunate Palpatine not playing today. As you said, is a sub, not one of the ones that's in, so won't see maybe the player to watch with the top KDR. Still 5 very good players across our roster, and yeah, the same attacker band, so maybe Maverick is just way, way better than I'm giving him credit for. But I think it'll be pretty map dependent. And before we see the maps, we do have the rest of the roster here for US Army Esports to look at.
I'm going to say I'm quite happy to see what I am seeing. It is terrifying as always. The stats are updating live, so anything is always changing. Be prepared for that. MCQ2, or QT is what I might call in this match. Pin, Louis, Secret, Hyper Deer. We've got Secret and Hyper Deer being the newest players of the roster today. Fill in for the 2 players who've recently dropped out or left. So, do be prepared. We don't know anything about how these guys play. These are enigmas not only to us, but to the players of Arcus. Doesn't matter how well you're involved with these art, doesn't matter how well you study them, you've got to be prepared for things that you are not expecting. So, we're going to head into this, and I want to see map bans. I need to see where we're heading to. Consulate, Skyscraper, Bank, and Clubhouse being first bans. That leaves a lot
They
on the
better ban
table.
Night.
Hopefully Nighthaven goes. Border and Cafe. Okay, that leaves between Chalet and Nighthaven. Please, let's see.
Okay,
Layer and Nighthaven are banned. We got to go to Chalet, which is Arcus's map. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because that puts Arcus in a much better position than US Army. But maybe US Army have something different. Maybe these two new players are their secret weapons. You'll be coming back to our look at our lovely faces today. And then hopefully when the players are ready, we'll head in. I'm going to ask you quick questions. Chalet, what do you think of the map?
I mean, I don't know. It's not personally one of my favorites. I think it's a good map for comp. But the thing is about Chalet, right? It's a map that's played almost identically round after round after round. So the more you play Chalet, the better you are at it. The strats are pretty, I think, normalized across the board, right? Maybe each team has their own variations. How you play each side is the same. Vertical play, extremely important on Chalet. I think the important thing, though, looking past just a map itself, neither of these teams are necessarily outstanding on Chalet given the way the stats are. They both have negative in terms of rounds won and lost. So this could be a bit of a toss-up. I think this is absolutely one of the best maps for Arcus to go for. Given that Army record is 7-2, I'd imagine this is maybe among their worst maps, and they're only -1 round on it. So clearly a very well-rounded team. I definitely think Arcus did the right thing by taking them here.
Do you believe you're right about that? And especially when we got to see those bans earlier, we're going to find out why that Maverick ban was so prevalent for them, or we're going to end up seeing why that's so necessary to get rid of Kaid. Because, again, as you said, this map is played always the same. Games bar a match, so just a sight that I dislike in this match. Just don't like it. When it comes to downstairs, I love it to bits because I've got the most aces and clutches I possibly could on it. But upstairs, master bedroom, a place where everyone knows how to hold, everyone knows how to spawn pick. Kali is your best friend and your worst nightmare. So let's see what the bans are first. What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, both these teams' top ban is Blackbeard, so I'd expect Arcus ban out Blackbeard here. Definitely would be strange if they didn't, and they do, so lucky for me. I sound like I know what I'm talking about. Kaid out as well. I think pretty normal. Hard Breach on this map is not as vital to some of the others. It's still extremely important, don't get me wrong, but you can get away with not having a wall open and still making a successful push. Azami ban, Ram ban, I really like these two. Azami is great on defense. There's a lot of long horizontal angles on this map. Of course, we mentioned it briefly, but vertical play is king on this map. No matter what site you're on, you are vulnerable from the top. The Ram ban, very, very smart there from Arcus.
I do believe you're right about that, and especially more now that we know where we're going. The fact that we do get to see Jaeger, we get to see Warden, we get to see Smoke, we get to see Malusi, and we get to see Maestro heading downstairs. Nothing to stop the wall being open, so they're prepped for against it. I'm hoping they get to see something new planned. They've probably been stratting a lot in Rainbow Six Siege X, where you have the new operator. And I'm gonna have to ask you, are you prepared for this? Do you like the new operator coming to see this game? Tell me what you think.
I'm never much of a test server player, so I haven't actually gotten a chance to sample Denar yet or see him in gameplay. I think he's going to be balanced, though. I mean, he certainly looks balanced, right? You can see the lasers, theoretically easy to take out with something like an EMP. They can deal high damage. I think it's going to allow for a lot more creativity. That being said, at high levels like this, right, where droning is so common, where everyone has an EMP or an impact EMP and you have soft destruction, I don't think he's going to be extraordinarily competitively viable. Just have to wait and see, but definitely excited. I think one of the operators I'm looking forward to more than most.
I'm holding you to that, but I'm also holding this Jaeger to try and stay alive as he returns either back to site or to kitchen. As for right now, they are droning and they're checking so much. Any line of sight they can get, Jaeger is waiting in kitchen. Any long angle could end up being his downfall right now. drones are not his friend, but as you can see, he's wasted a lot of time. Ooh, the first ping does come out. Spotting Malusi and giving his teammates that call-out information. But now, it's going to come out to Grim. Grab a drone as well coming out. Ooh, can he get the line of sight onto the Jaeger or the Malusi? No, but he does give a little bit of pressure now. 2 minutes left. Nobody's died. It's a 5v5. There's a lot to worry about here. Sight's downstairs basement, but they're acting like it's in kitchen.
Yeah, playing it heavily vert, definitely like that play from the defense. Go at Snowmobile Garage first, right? It's not the most, I don't know, standard thing in the book. A lot of teams, in fact, are kind of moving away from this site entirely, just opting for top floor and the middle tooth sites. So I like seeing a team that isn't scared to approach it. Interesting spot as well with the Warden in the basement hallway. I think it's going to be smart from CJ. We'll see if it pays off. It doesn't look like the Army's pushing that direction just yet. Brendan, though, could be a problem. Because Army's on the other side of the map, it doesn't look like they've seen the Jaeger. I don't know if they have flank drones up. They do have gridlock, so track stinger should be out, but the Jaeger can really throw a wrench in the plans here.
I do believe right about that, especially this early into the match. With only a minute left, they don't have a lot of time to be wasting hunting down roamers. He's successfully done his job of being able to waste enough time. But right now, this Warden is a bigger threat, being so tight, so close into the order. Oh, he does barely get out of time. He does have a reinforcement left if he tries to go for that wall. But right now, the main wall is going to get thermited, but it's going to get shot out by the Maestro cam. Beautiful time and beautiful play. You do have to be prepared. There is still 2 other teammates watching, trying to go for the other side, rotate smoke. Alistair goes up. CapTab does try to go for the camera. It's not going to make it. It just breaks it, and it gets shot by the second Maestro camera.
That's insane. They didn't see the second one for just 20 seconds. They're going to have to pile through this single hard breach. It is 15 seconds left. There's no kills. Here they come. CJ goes down, as does Oak. MCQ2 is low. Here goes Brendan, and suddenly it's a 2v2 because one's on the ground. Rico goes massive from the corner of the site. And just 5 seconds left. MC needs to get this diffuser on the ground, but he's seen from above. Diffuser down, round over. Arcus take it in a wild round 1.
Jaeger being left his own devices upstairs was not the play you wanted to see happen. Every quick exchange just gave him more time and more opportunity just to walk straight through sight. I'm hoping there's something more to this, and as you can see the Maestro cam, the fact that there's 2 of them in the hallway and they weren't taken out just goes to show that, hey, they didn't have the utility for it. They hadn't droned enough to know what was being brought. For now, we're going back to kitchen dining. Same lineups being brought, so maybe they were prepared for that instead. Let's hopefully see something change for the better.
And defuse as many bombs as they can.
Yeah, that attack, I don't know, it had the elements of being okay, but the time was just, they took way too much time, and it was kind of confusing because Arcus really didn't provide a whole lot of resistance, right? I don't know how many shots were fired before 20 seconds left, but it wasn't a lot. They just kind of sat there and made US Army take a long time to push. Interested to see if they push this one the same. That being said, right, they're a good team. They have a lot of wins under their belt. Should hopefully realize after that it's time to pick up the pace, but this site is going to be harder to attack. Unlike last time, where they kind of fell back to the basement, they didn't really play their lives on first floor. The defenders will be doing that on second floor. They're not going to fall off these angles easily at all. It's going to take a really long time and a lot of bullets to push these defenders out.
I'm going to say you're right about that, especially with the fact that these defenders are still setting up, especially 50 minutes into the round. That is not a great time to be still setting up. Any execution in that first 15 seconds could have been detrimental to them. But I'm hoping Arcus understand that, hey, this is their time. They've got to be prepared. They've got to be set up because this Twitch is just could walk straight through the kitchen door. And that 417 with a cat girl on it would be their downfall. You don't want to see that happen, especially to a good team like Arcus. But she's cleared out blue. She's clearing out the upstairs. They understand that they've droned it and found an F9 mine. They're going to have to be able to push site quickly.
Absolutely. 1 minute gone so far, nobody dead, so looking like shades of round number 1. The Army is in, though. They have a player inside of library, or at least on the stairs. It's going to be Louis there. Actually looks like came in from the first floor. Could get really cheeky kill here, but spotted out, manages to dodge the headshot. Thought for sure Oak was going to take that one, but the Twitch hitbox is just small enough to keep them off the radar.
I do believe you're right about that, especially with how this time is working out. I'm hoping they have some sort of answer to this equation, because even I'm not sure how I feel about this. They're going to have to go for the pre-fires and make sure that they can get any picks they want. Twitch drones are especially useful, especially for all these F-Not mines that are off this hallway. Getting picked bit by bit, but it is still a drone. It's still a walking camera.
1 minute left to play now. This slow attack continues. Ping goes down, so momentary advantage for Arcus. They're holding this top floor really well. Oak still hasn't been forced out. Nearly got the player vaulting out to balcony there. I believe it was Hyped here. And finally, Will Oak gets a frag that eluded him just seconds ago. 5v3 in favor of Arcus. And how about this? Stats don't show it all. The upset team right now is on a tear with just 45 seconds. They're going to have to get through this map fast. They're on the first floor and have enough ground to where they shouldn't be flanked. The rest of the team needs to get in. It is only this Osa inside.
I do believe you're right about that, especially with how this is working out. The bars running out bit by bit, trying to answer with their own points. The pre-fire just does not work for the Osa. She gets down in the engagement, and another kill goes out for recoil, taking out MK2.
Yeah, Louis, last one here. Or the army.
Becoming
the
a 1v5, tries to go for it. Let's hopefully this works, but no, CCJ is there to pick him up in a 1v2.
Yeah, I mean, what can Louis do there, right? 1v5, just a handful of seconds remaining. And this is odd, right? Despite being the team that has a lot of players with positive KDR, that they're winning all their games really easily, Army just looks like they don't want to take any gunfights. It's the impression I've got. They're not swinging the whole ton. They're relying on their utility to open things up, right? And it's just not. Arcus are taking advantage. They're using the clock well, using the map well. They're doing everything right here. So gotta think the Army has to turn this on. It's 2 rounds in a row, granted. This time, I don't think they were kind of bitten by time. It was really just map state. Because with, 10 seconds left in the round, they still didn't have top floor control. There is no way you're going to win if you don't have top floor control for these middle sites.
Yeah, no matter what that, any plans you try to go for will be shut down nice and early. So, I'm hoping they can answer with their own here. Right now, I'm thinking about how they can fix this. What strats, what plans do you think US Army can incorporate right now to kind of save them that time?
I mean, I'd be looking at things like the Lion, things like the Dokkaebi, the Deimos even, we were talking about last game. It just helps. I mean, the Romans are set in pretty strong, but they're not being challenged at all, right? There's nothing forcing them to move. Even this utility that's gone off really hasn't forced anyone out of position. It's just been Arcus kind of retreating when they think they have the time or when they think enough time has passed. The Scopos here is an interesting call. I like Scopos. It's probably my favorite concept for an operator in the game, but any team with good droning shouldn't be too fooled by it, and especially with this Brava. Doubtful that it's going to have a whole ton of impact. In fact, I'd honestly expect that second shell to be taken over within the next minute at the most.
I do hope you're right, especially with those Luger's interactions with it, being able to burn it so early and so quickly. It's kind of what you're hoping for, but right now, it looks like they're still trying to take top floor control from the defenders. With a minute gone now, they've got to be very prepared for everything. This drone hasn't spotted the Scopos, I don't believe, so hopefully it catches them on the flank, because if not, we could have a second reparations of, hey, we have it droned enough, we're getting caught out. And I'm sure the call-outs are going to be menacing to each team. Nobody's up here, though, except for the people in piano.
We'll see if the offense is able to force it out. Caught in the frost mat. That is a diabolical fate that awaits MCQ2. Taken down there by Brennan. Kill credit, of course, goes to AZO. Yeah, they got to get moving. A minute and a half. Still plenty of time here for the offense. But it's kind of like last game, right? Or last round, rather. There's only a couple inside the building. They're working their way through. It's going to be slow going, though, and the angle just too tight under recoil there inside of office. Unlucky timing from Pin, who's going to look to get the kill, and will as recoil goes down. In a safe spot, but there's no way anybody's getting into that room, and there goes the kill credit for Pin. Well,
you're definitely right about that. Making it a 4v4, especially in mid left, doesn't mean you're out of luck. But right right now puts the defenders in a much better position. They just have to keep stalling for time. That's Kluger Drone not going to be able to get the camera shot out just before it could. Right now, they've only just taken top floor control with a minute left, and they've got a lot of it. They still have to take the blue staircase and try to push site. Problem is, games is a place where it's not easy to hold, especially when the hatches are soft and they can just be dropped and pushed in. Grim is able to push people out of position, but it's not going to help you save you. It's 30 seconds left. It's going to get electric.
Certainly well, and the U.S. Army now looking strong for the first time in this match. They have the man advantage. Yet again, look at the time. There is 20 seconds left. They have the top floor, but they're all up there. There's no pressure from the windows. They're all going to drop down hatches. This could go cataclysmically wrong. The smoke times these well. They don't drone out the castle in the corner. Oak with one. What a shot on ADS from Secret down to a 1v2. Lee takes down Azo. It's all on CJ. One kill. And the second the shotgun rings out. Arcus hangs on. 3 unanswered to start our game. Wow.
I'm not sure how I feel about that, especially showing that Army could win that. They were very close to being able to push it. Once they'd taken the top floor control, they had a minute left. They had to push. It had to be a main office push, or just main focus. But it didn't work out for them since Mez hadn't been cleared. I'm hoping I get to see more from them, because the Scopo strat from Arcus is working out really well in their favor. Castle was there, was able to drop, but just did not have the timer. Not enough sight was cleared. Coming down to that 1v1 where you're close fight with a shotgun, it's not what you want. But now we go back down to Wine Cellar. I'm going to say this is probably the closest US had to being able to go for that plant. But now, I want to see something special. I want to see, hey, we've droned it, we've seen that they're bringing my show, we've brought the counters, not just the Twitch, but everything. Gone sixes, whatever else needs to be brought.
Yeah, I'm a little perplexed as to what we're seeing from U.S. Army, right? Because their attacking win percentage was pretty high when you looked at their overall stats, or I think another 7-2 team, just like we saw Mist Esports on our last game.
Stop worrying about grenades now.
But they're playing these attacks kind of, I don't know, bad is not the word, right? Because they haven't been bad pushes. The time is insane. They're leaving it to seconds on the clock every time, and unless every single thing goes right, you're not going to win those rounds. They have to speed it up. The Monty, in theory, should help to do that, right? He's a walking drone. You don't got to spend time droning, just walk through the map with Monty. Should speed it up, and it looks like Arcus are going to go for the same strat as they did back in round 1, so should be prepared for it. I think this is a must-win round for the U.S. Army, right? You've seen this exact same thing. They have all the tools to counter it. They can't drop this round.
Well, it's Siege, so you can never say they can't, won't, or shan't. So for right now, first pick, US Army loses a player to CJ. Not something you want to lose, especially Grim, who's perfect for your post plant. And right now, they haven't even got upstairs control yet. Pre-fire rings out, does clip the Capital. Luckily, Brendan can get back to site safely. But he's not even worried about it. He's going to go hang out on games and just wait and rest. Again, Monty is your walking drone, clearing out as much of sight as he can, face checking, which can be good, but it still wastes a lot of time. You don't want to be actually checking sight, you just want to have your drone set up early during prep phase and then push forward. To lead the Maestro Cam, they should have enough to be able to take it in kitchen. Just be prepared for Lucy Gadget. Hopefully they can get this player. Nope, Lucy is taken out perfectly as they wanted. It's a massive pick as well, but the danger is still about.
Yes, it is. Minute and a half left to play, so U.S. Army making good time here. They still have to clear out one player who's on the first floor. It's going to be Brendan sitting inside a gaming room. The rest haven't retreated to the basement, so should, in theory, have a lot of time to play with kind of 4C's anchors out of position. The only question is, I don't know if they see Brendan. They're peppering shots onto this side of the map, so I think they know somebody's there. But so far back, he's not sitting on any angle. They can walk right up to that Jaeger. Not have to do anything else, but they're just not for now. The team trying to push in, lead this basement hallway. ADS takes one. There's nobody currently in the hallway behind the shield. And Maestro is just going to mess with poor Hype Deer, who is having flashbacks to round number 1.
I am happy that they are destroying, or at least cracking the glass to stop any sort of changes. What, that smoke cancer comes out and Maestro Camera is finally taken out, but it actually does get both of the breach charges now. But Monty has pushed in. Luckily for him, he can actually throw out blue quickly. Takes out another player, making a 3v3, 30 seconds left, but he goes down in the end, becoming a 3v2. Tries to go for the push, but Thermite goes down in the engagement, leaving it just to overtaking him out. And now it's up to the Capitao. He has to push in, but the players know exactly where he is. He doesn't have the fuser. 20 seconds left. He knows there's a player in blue, but there's 3 of them. Big smoke canister hits him directly in the face, but he cannot get it. But the Maestro Cameron does start shooting him. He doesn't have more time to waste. Those canisters will be up the entire time for the next 10 seconds. He cannot waste any time. 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And he goes down trying to go in for a push, but he cannot get any picks. No padding the KD today.
Yeah, I mean, gotta give respect, right, for not hanging it out, trying to make something happen. Just not enough time, and I'm really, I think, concerned with these attacks, right? They haven't looked great that round. I think they did better on time, right? That's been their big problem through 3. It wasn't an issue that round, right? They got into sight with 40 seconds, plenty to make an execute, to open walls. But they did the same thing as round number 1. The Maestro has shot 4 thermite charges between these 2 rounds. He's put the cameras in the same place. They didn't take anything like an Ash, a Sledge to deal with it, and nobody was watching him when Thermite puts down his charges. There's just no way that can work out for them. It's unfortunate to see in Monty at that point was too pushed in to help out the rest of the team. So a rough attack, but right, I've said it once, I'll say it again. This is a good team. This, in theory, should be an anomaly for them. I think they can turn it around and get a couple attacking wins. But even so, even being a defender-sided map, we don't normally see defenses take like 5 rounds off, so they really got to lock in here.
Don't worry, I agree. I've actually got on my notes right now, just thinking about how US Army can play better. We're heading into it. Hopefully they can hear me thinking, it's like, hey, guys, bring more drones, bring more destruction traps, bring the Ash, yes. Which, again, you've got Ash Sophia, you've got so many options to destroy it, and it looks like they have answered my prayers. Your Kebby is being brought, we've got Grim. I would have liked to see something like a Dame to hunt those roamers, but for now, don't worry about it. We've got a buck. They're going for that upstairs versatility. Here's the problem. Tuberow will slow them down from anything they try to bring, especially that breach charges. For now, the defense have brought Fenrir, Echo, Tuberow, Goyo, and Mute. What I'd honestly say would be the perfect slowdown and burn strat besides no to try and get them to smoke. Now, diffuser goes down, no problem. Echo can top it. They have to clear the drones. They have to clear upstairs. Big problem is they haven't reinforced enough, and it looks like they're planning to play aggressive on the side of Arcus. US Army have to be prepared for this playstyle. It did not work out for them in a long time. Hopefully it works out this time.
Using shield.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It looks to be a similar, well, honestly, not a very similar defensive setup to first time. They have an Echo, they have a Tuberow as well. Don't believe they had either of these operators the first time they defended the kitchen. No Osa for the US Army, so they're going to be relying on Monty instead to kind of spearhead their push. Secreting quick here. Nobody in the basement, and yet again, it's a lot of people on the second floor from Arcus. In theory, Army can just push this bomb site, and they're set up to do this. This could be a very uncharacteristic attacking round, and it would work out. Mute, Recoil, is the only one in, but shooting that jukebox is going to give him away. Now all of Arcus knows exactly where this attack is. Oh no.
D4 did not get the breach charge, did not get the thermite charge, and it just soars over. Luckily, or unluckily enough, this Monty can just walk in now. He's just trying to be prepared for anyone being above. Here's the biggest fear I have right now. They've got to rotate in the site, they've got to push back. They don't have the timer. No upstairs control has been taken yet, but Monty can basically just walk through site if they clear this upstairs quickly enough.
Certainly should be able to. Ooh, Louis though takes down Oak. That's a good opening, and Recoil as well. Now there are no defenders on the first floor. CJ is not in the site. US Army can just flood, and here goes the plant. This is what we've been waiting to see from the Army. Arcus falling. 2 left remaining, and with that logic bomb, there will be no Yokai burst to stop this today. CJ and Ezo, the last 2 remaining, with 5 facing them down. This is going to be a long shot for Arcus to keep their flawless streak running. Monty, pushing up aggressive, will die, but with 30 seconds left, it's just running out here for the defenders.
Flashbang's coming out and stopping them in the tracks. 20 seconds left. They have to push. They need to find the picks. can't just take their one time, but they can actually stop the defenders trying to push them closer. Flashbangs and long range is your friend for the US Army today. Take them out, win the round, that puts them on the scoreboard. Again, a 4G split is kind of their best option right now, but a 5-1 still a detriment, leaves them 2 rounds if they lose. Now, I'm going to ask you a quick question. What is the play here? Is it go with a pocket strat or try to win with something you've seen before? You know you're going back to bar games, which is not a site you've won.
Attackers need to
Yeah, I
defuse
mean,
bombs.
I don't know. I think it just has to be a little bit. Gosh, I sound like the biggest broken record in the world, but a little bit more time. The first time they attacked our games in, what was it, round number 3, it wasn't a bad attack, right? They just lost because they all had to drop down the hatches with 10 seconds left. They cleared everyone out on the second floor. They had good angles. They still had utility. But they all had to drop in front of the castle, in front of the smoke. There's just no way it's going to win with that little time. If they can do the same thing, but clear it out, start their push 15, 20 seconds earlier, I think that round goes a different way. I think this is well within the realm of possibilities for US Army to take this round.
I'm going to agree with you there just because of the fact of I don't know what these guys are playing like today. US Army have been showing up that they can do it. They've been getting close every time, and it's getting stolen. It is just losing your bike in the last part of the match. But now, I'm hoping they have something set up. They know they have to attack both kitchen and top floor. You could actually just go for the A side window. Just try and clear out the top floor there.
Loading new mag.
I don't think they want to do that. But now, we're just going to wait and see. Pre-play C4s all around. Valkyrie waiting to see if she can get that detonation off in time. Ash now actually trying to break in from below. That might actually be a better turn of play. Clear out the bottom floor, try and destroy them off the ground. Oh, I know the Scopos is there, but whether or not they can find them is going to be the problem.
See, only time will tell here. For the attack, it looks like Brendan could pull it off successfully here. The only thing is, Scopos is loud when she walks. Theoretically, see her here.
Here's the problem. They don't know that the Ash is there because there's no cameras in that west main. If Ash can get the angle in the frost, which she does, that's a beautiful pick to start us off. Hopefully Brendan can go for the flank though and maybe refrag. Otherwise, it's going to be all up to Oak. And Oak wasn't prepared for it. Ooh, the long angle does actually get the kill regardless. But now it's up to the Nomad upstairs and the other 2 players in piano. But that Valkyrie T4 is not going to be useful as everyone's went a different route this time. For now, we just got to hope they've cleared upstairs much faster this time around, which is a much better play. Hopefully they can take one of these 2 sites quickly and get the plants.
1 minute left to play in a 4-on-4, so both teams still good enough position for this game. We'll see how well it pays off for them. US Army needs to get on the site, and that opening kill will help. Pin takes down Oak from the top floor, so still making good use. There's nobody top. They have them all forced onto the objective floor. Brendan is still somewhat in the basement at the bottom of these stairs. Scrim could stop it, but stopped by the railing, or the Wamai rather. Recoil gets 1 kill onto Hype Deer. Brendan is rotated and now is going to be behind MC and Q2. I don't think they've detected the Scopos who can walk into sight and kill the Monty. This is a big oversight from the Army. Unless they take him down, there goes Recoil. Smoke won the last couple, but Monty is rotated. Now the Scopos just needs to get the player in fireplace, and they won't leave the kill. It's on. CJ can he be the hero yet again? Not this time. Double from Louis to end it. US Army do exactly what they need to, an attempted team kill with the round win from the Dokkan.
Not sure what you're talking about. It's just a love top to test the shield. Putting themselves in technically the best position they can be in a 4-2. This is a defender-sided map statistically and by most players' recommendations. So hopefully the US Army can come back with something more devastating on their defense. For now, let's see what the bans are, because I'm thinking it's going to be something a wee bit different. Maybe a Kaid, Bandit ban, or maybe just ban all of the hard breachers. We'll just have to wait and see. Mira and Ace, so that's a hard breacher and Mira. That is a good standard ban for this map. Let's see what the second is.
Yeah, pretty.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's not going to be Scopos. I know for a fact. I can feel it in my bones.
That'd be a sick ban if it was a. Oh, no
That's
Scopus.
Salmon
I'm
Bowman.
disappointed.
No, but
Yeah,
we might
Zombie-
actually get to see more Scopos player to Chanka.
I hope so. I do like Scopos for his not great as I think they are in a comp setting. I do really like the character. Not seeing that though. We do see Doc for the first time tonight, so that'll always be fun. You know, the rank star showing up yet again. First time for a Blackbeard as well. Went unbanned in our last game, but just didn't get played. Will be played here. Arcus does not like to play against that character, so they
Attackers
took
need
it
to
out. Looks
locate
like the
and
army doesn't
defuse
mind
as
as
many
much.
bombs as they can.
You're right about that, especially with shields still being on the table, so Blackbeard can be brought by Arcus. And as you can
Attackers have
see,
discovered
OK
the
is
location
planning
of
it.
a bomb.
But for the side of the defenders, we have Ramad, we have Warden, we have Doc, we have Goyo, and we have Legion. A bit of a different setup to how Arcus ran it, but they might have something different or some other perfect strat that we can copy. Now, doors are being set up on the doorways, as always. I'm going to ask you, how do you prefer to set up
10
Goyo
seconds
traps?
left.
Sorry, how do I prefer to set up what?
5
The
seconds
Goyo
left.
canisters.
Like where around the map or like on a wall, on a floor?
Oh, like, so
What
do you prefer to put them on breach charges? Sorry, like, barricades like this where the Doc is spawn picking from? Or do you prefer to have them like hatches, doorways, somewhere you can shoot it yourself?
I definitely prefer shooting it myself because I like, I don't know, I like covering one side of the site and like popping it with 30 seconds left, you know, just really shut down the options. Guayo doesn't have to pop diffusers, teammates just have to pop heads here as Brennan falls without getting to use a single Rotero drone, but Flores is not the most impactful operator on this map, so it shouldn't be a huge deal, especially with no bulletproof shields. Oh, that's a brutal place.
Do you hear the fact that right outside the door? Not where you want to be.
Not at all. Not at all. But with 2 minutes left to play, still plenty of time for Arcus to claw this one back. Recoil on the Striker. Striker, one of the most undervalued operators in the game. Always love seeing a Striker on the board.
Striker or Blackbeard, which one do you want to see more? Because right now, this Warden is trying to take his head off. Hopefully going to be able to get the pick early, but for now, I'm not sure how I feel. Just seeing the fact that there is a Doc up there, and I don't think the Doc's been droned, probably going to be a detriment if Arcus hadn't cleared out of enough sight.
Reloading!
Blackbeard is ended up getting taken out. You gotta love those canisters. Just enough to move the shield so Warden can get the head.
Yeah, big kill there from the Warden onto the Blackbeard. One of the most trouble, and now Thatcher rather, gonna fall as well. CJ and Recoil. The last two, and now the army is warmed up. They are rolling. It's looking like the third straight round victory, barring a miracle play here from the two attackers. Stranger things have happened though, and should have enough utility between them as CJ takes down Louis. That's going to be a big kill. One of, I think, the top fragger right now for US Army Esports. That's a good way to start it, but you are looking into some scary SMGs. There goes the Vector ringing out. Secret takes down CJ, all on recoil. He's going to need the last 4 to pick this up.
Ooh, Recoil can still clutch, just making it a 4v1 with 40 seconds left. Time isn't on his side. Hopefully his gun skill is. He has clutched out before, so he can do it again. But now he knows there's a Warden on the circus, which is the bigger threat. But Doc is actually going to be the one to take a little bit of his health off and help the Warden finish the job.
Run there from US Army Esports. Arcus now down 3 rounds in a row. We saw Army use their timeout after round 4. Interested to see if Arcus are going to go that path as well. There are some teams that just don't like timeouts, but now on Attack on Chalet, we talked a lot in the pregame, right, about how it's played the same way, the strats are all the same. That's on the defensive side. There are a lot of different things you can do on the attack, multiple angles for every single bomb site, a couple good pushing points on every side as well, and that one did not work for them in round 1, but should have many chances. Maybe this is a sign that Snowmobile is making a comeback because both teams actually seeming to favor this site.
Do you believe you're right about that, especially with how this is working out in their favor? I'm hoping that the US Army guys might actually run away with this and show us something spectacular. Because right now, again, we decided to map all the way. This map is showing it. But Arcus do know how to attack it. They know how to defend it so they can pick it off. We're not seeing the Maestro Cannon being brought from US Army today. So maybe that's the only flaw they get to see. Hatches aren't reinforced, walls aren't reinforced, 10 seconds left. People are going to be risking their life trying to solidify sight. My biggest concern is the fact that Mira is banned, Sami is banned, so there's no makeshift armor besides the reinforcements and those shields that you bring. Or the spawn peaks that are going to come out from Goyo. The reason this ACOG is being removed from the defenders is hopefully not going to be shown to us. It does look like he's going to call it off. Ooh, being prepared for that watchdog.
F not primed.
I think they're just trying to get the spawn peaks in now before the ACOGs get taken away from the defenders. They're trying to enjoy their last couple spawn peaks with them and just not landing so far for Army. But I definitely like seeing the increased confidence, right? I wouldn't guess they're an attacker or defender side of team. Their stats are so high on both sides. So maybe just more confident on the Chalet defense, but whatever the case, definitely a welcome sight to see after losing those open 4 rounds. Arcus on this attack gonna have to be much, much different than round number 7. No deaths so far, so already trending in the right direction.
Yeah, from with that much more passive playstyle working out in their favor. Arcus are switching the diffuser between teammates while they're also clearing out kitchen and upstairs. I'm hoping that they've droned out enough because they have cleared out top floor, but there is still a Jaeger hiding up there. If he is not found out, this could be detrimental to them.
Minute 45, still plenty of time for Arcus to get these push off. So now Blackbeard forcing his way forward, going to be repelled by Pin for the moment. And a reminder, the site is the basement, so they are doing a wonderful job stalling out on time here. As long as they're able to still get downstairs comfortably. I think the Warden is the only one in the basement right now. Hype Chair is close as well on the fireplace stairs. And Louis could be in a tough spot, making a little bit of noise. It looks like the attacker just now leaping through, though. It's going to be Brendan who finds one, a nice pinch onto Secret, joined by the teammate. But have they seen Louis? Louis can come from behind and destroy him. Double from Brendan, the glass ringing out. They have not seen Louis. Could save this entire round for Arcus, or for US Army, rather. Just needs the right push. Habana should be a free kill, and she is. Louis going to need to look for a second.
Having it be the Blackbeard is not the stake you want, as you have to try to run away as well. 40 seconds left. The things are going to get electric.
Good attempt from the Fenrir to run away, but just shut down by Arcus as well. Lose one, ping gets CJ. And is still on the first floor, just now joining. C4 out, going to be avoided easily though by Oak, but they don't have the diffuser. It's on Azo. And with that fire pop, they can't get into sight. Oak is in a 1v2 here until that Goyo fire fades away in about 5 to 10 seconds, and Oak goes down. Just like that, the entry goes by the wayside. Be able to get into sight with plenty of time to spare, but they need to get these shots. Looks like Army knows where they're coming from. There goes Brennan. It's all going to be on Azo. Will not get the first hype deer with both. The round clawed back there by Army.
Do please remember that hype deer and the other one. Sorry. Give me a second so I can actually see the name to make absolutely sure I've got the names correct before I just randomly guess. We have Hype Deer and Secret both being the 2 subs for today, actually holding their own in these fights. Again, these are players who haven't warmed up enough yet. They haven't gotten used to their teams just yet. This is their first proper play day, and they're doing work. Hype Day being the one to stay on site, understanding not to be too aggressive, get used to their team's playstyles, and let the other 3 frag out of their mind. Setting up the kills, setting up the assists, and making sure that, hey, site is ready, everything's set. Argus as well, working out perfectly as they want to, as a practice team should be. They got their lead ahead, but the timeout seems to have fixed not only US Army, but put them back into an equal position. 4-4 is what you want.
Yeah, and at this point, I know it's still anybody's game, right? But you got to think the recent tear of 4 rounds in a row, as well as being on defense, definitely favors Army. Arcuso, I liked that attack. It's just kind of, honestly, I think if it's not a Goyo there, they win that round, right? The other 2 attackers can enter. They don't have to stall out and let the Blackbeard just in that 1v2 by themselves. Obviously, more time on the clock can really have a while to execute, force those defenders to make unsafe plays. I was much, much closer to being around for Arcus, and I think it's realized, so it's still well possible they can claw this one back.
I do believe you're right about that, so I'm hoping that they have something just, set in their wings. They understand that, hey, we are the two new players, we're holding up side, doing work, and Arcus needs to be able to punish that. The fact that there is not that perfect coordination just yet. They can delay that aggression, they can shut down as much as they want to. The attack has completely flipped, except for the glass and the striker. So, it looks like they've got something in the works. I'm hoping, though, that this cross mat actually catches somebody off guard. Because we've seen it work once. And ever since then, I think Arcus has been prepared to be like, hey, it worked on them, it will work on us.
See if it works out this time. Round number 9, essentially back to a tie game here. Both teams gonna have to work very, very hard to pull this one back. They've each had very, very shining moments. We're gonna game of streaks though, right? First it was Arcus, now it's Army. This is gonna be an important round. See if the pattern of 4 rounds in a row before being broken up continues.
Do you believe you're right in that? Especially with how quickly they're already trying to clear up stairs. You can hear the China's ringing from the explosions. Ram jumps in, gets the frostbomb.
Loading new
Here's the
mag.
second one, so Blackwood doesn't have to worry. Do remember that shields have a slower look down time. They will get caught by it.
Yeah, good. Get a good teammate play.
not
Probably
sure.
don't let your teammate dying to the frost mat. Sorry, what's up?
I'm not sure if you've noticed, but we do have a lot of roaming. We've got players in the first floor, players in the staircase.
Oh, no.
But then we have a castle jump out who is actually resable because of the fact he made it in before he went down by glass. Oak actually gets C4 hit and cannot push up. CJ surviving
Rage
on
shot.
1 HP on a dream, taking out the Tuberau. But again, those Goyo canisters are not your friends. Anything taps one of these two players and they go down in an instant.
Yeah, they can pop the one inside a piano. Don't have the angle from where they're standing though, so we'll have to rotate over if they want to get that one down. You can see Blackbeard obviously very wary of that fact. Won't even need the Goyle to get the Blackbeard, but a second swing through Azo with kill onto Louis. Just now the Goyle's popped. It will give them time, but the wall opened to the right, so the attackers continue to thunder through. C4 finds one. There goes Azo. CJ was on such low HP, but managed to avoid it. Wow, dancing through the wall to Ram could die at any second. This castle pulls the trigger, and just a second late, will get the kill, though Pin finds it onto CJ. 1v3 for Brendan on the glass. We've seen has a very nasty shot. 50 seconds remaining, 3 players though. It's feeling unlikely.
Especially with no diffuser in hand, that's not the state you want to be in. I'm hoping they understand that with the last 30 seconds, they're going to have to drop the hatch, go for 3 kills, which might not even be in sight. Luckily enough, they are, but Glass barely living as he tries to go for the push, but he actually does get a pick on a different player in style. Gets Goyo, tries to go for the shot back, but he does not have the time. He's got to go for the diffuser and then try to push in as quickly as he can. The problem is, there's still a lot of traps set up downstairs, and even more, there's castle barricades in between you and sight. Gotta be prepared for this for 14 seconds.
1v2, so definitely possible through the smoke. Will almost get the first, but the Goyo pans out anyway. Pin with the final kill from the tie lead. Very, very close to dying, but with the other player still alive, wouldn't have mattered much with that Goyo flames on the ground. Army takes their 5th. These are still close rounds for Arcus, but it's starting to feel pretty runaway here. The Army have every advantage, all the momentum in the world.
Gotta say, I do believe you're right about that, especially with how this is
Good
working
Goyo.
out in their favor. Alright, I'm gonna ask you, how do you think they correct this? Goyo and Blackbeard ban's probably the smart way to go for it. But what do you think they have to do to win this?
What do I think Arcus have to do to win this, or Army?
Arcus to win this. I'm gonna say Arcus for now. I do want to hear both. Arcus.
Defenders, protect your
I don't know.
bombs
I think...
used by attackers.
I don't know. All my analysis sounds so dumb. I just gotta say, be more effective. The way they're using their utility, it hasn't been like anything too out of the ordinary. We really haven't seen any of these attackers be impactful. They've pretty much just been running behind a Blackbeard, who's now banned. They have to find a way to make some of this work. I like the pick on the Ryora. Ryora on this map is extremely good. There are a ton of doorways. I wish we would have seen something like it sooner. They have the Monty again, which I thought has been okay. But I think they're using the shield as a little bit clutch.
I can understand that, but this is the question that I'm going to have to ask you, is because as you can see, Valk is now being told where to put cameras. the same synergy or the same strat. But what I was saying was, especially with Aurora, because of the way she's being played, would you not like to see some Thermite plays or anything like that where you can reinforcements just by putting down the charge, or Legion taking one of my discs to the mouth? Sorry, just it looks like it all lagged out for me. But as I was saying, I would like to see some more synergy between the operators, especially things like how, as you can say, Roar with Thermite, Twitch, Spring Broad, things like that would have probably helped them in the long run. Or on the side of US Army, having a Rooney might be being better to being brought. But now they've cleared out again with well, they've got Monty instead of Blackbeard, clearing out as much. They can see that there's still a player down below. They called him out. They're just gonna have to keep walking up through this piano, pulling out as much of sight as they can. Just being prepared.
Very prepared. 1 minute gone so far. Arcus is making good time for being Bar Gaming, right? They certainly can march through the rest of this map. There are a couple players left on the second floor, though. Good use of their Ryora, but they didn't drone out, so Lamai is going to capture that first one. If I'm CJ, I throw another one over there, right? Don't let anybody look in from the fireplace. Gives you a lot of freedom from these defenders, and believe that should be the call. Louis, though, with those impact grenades, can deal with these easy. They are just... Okay, they do take out that Lamai, and it looks like CJ is going to throw up both of the Ryors. His beautiful utility use. I really like the way they're playing this so far.
Well, I'm going to have to agree, but 5v5, minute 20 left, no big picks. I'm hoping they remember that they have to go for the plant or have to take out. Those are your win conditions right now. Arcus are in the better state, but still a lot of sight to worry about. CJ getting the first pick on MC. Great pick, taking out the Warden, one of the people who can actually stop your plant. This Roar is actually working out in their favor quite well, clearing off angles, making sure to just take the ones. For now, Louis is being pushed out, stuck back in sight, while Pin actually answers with his own, taking out Rico, that striker off the board. Coming in 4v4, 45 seconds left. Gotta be prepared for this.
They do 40 seconds for Arcus to get on site to start this execute. Dot gonna heal Louis up all the way back to full. Full top floor control now, but that's gonna hurt as the C4 finds CJ. Luckily at this point, Ryora has done her job. And the DMR in hand can be a little bit unforgiving short range. Pin uses last him. Get themselves back up before hell.
Track sting is active.
This is concerningly like what we saw from Army's attacks, right? There is 15 seconds. They're not in the site yet, but the kills have started to roll. Brennan gonna take down Hype Deer. They need to get this Monty in, but Azo dies from behind. Pin gets that one. Brennan just has to drop into sight. Won't even get the first. Army wins on to match point. 6 unanswered rounds.
Gotta say, chinning stance mid-fall, like, we all know that on ADS is you now. So it's useful, especially if you're trying to make a quiet drop. But in that sort of position, it is better just to have the gun or be completely prone. Don't even worry about changing position to catch yourself. Just try and hit fire on your way down. But it did not work out in their favor this time. It's match point 6-4. Arcus can win this. They've shown it. They've won their 4 defensive rounds. But it has just been almost a clean sweep back. Couple in between, but for now, we're gonna have to hear what's going on the calls. They're gonna have to be preparing to tell themselves, hey, we're going downstairs, the worst place to go down, especially if we cannot punish them. It's happened a couple times in the past, and it's gonna have to happen again. I'm gonna ask you right now, just because of, hey, it happens, do you think they can take this, or should they have to go back to the drawing board? It's up to Arcus to answer that, but I want to hear your thoughts.
On if Arcus can take it? Or if Army can take it?
Well, if Arcus can, do you think Arcus can clutch this back? Because right now, it's US Army's match to lose.
I mean, I think it's possible. I'm just gonna say it though, I don't like we're still taking a shield operator. The shield is pushing by himself more times than not. It feels like they're just using a shield because shields are good. I don't see a ton of synergy with that pick. That being said, on Blitz, you can do a lot more on Blitz on your own than you can on Monty. So I think if they're going to take any shield up, this is the play. But, I don't know, their attacks just leave a little to be desired. They're still getting their kills, they're still making, I think, pretty good time. It's just, I don't know, it's just not working out. They have to change something drastically because all 4 of their attack losses haven't been extremely close. Oh, there's a blitz. Wow, down early. That is a tough blow for Arcus. But they get 2 kills out of it, so kind of does its job.
Would you rather have a Fenrir or would you rather have a Blitz? That is your question. And for now, that is being answered with why not we take out both. For now, hoping they got an answer to this because it's 4v3, top floor control is not in their hands. There's still a Jaeger about floating and they are pushing the back. If he catches them off guard again with the rotate, he could end up taking them all. For now, we're just having to wait and see how time flies. There's no issues to take off anything on this wall for now. It's just going to come down to walls are open, everyone's prepared for gunfight, time is waiting. We have Deer, we have Pin, we have MC left.
30. Plenty of time here for the attack to do what they want. They're burning out these Jaeger charges, but there are a couple of them, so the shield will stay up and no more Ash charges, and they don't have anything like that Flores that they brought earlier. Pin taking damage, but the return kill onto CJ. Jaeger on Ash like it's Season 1 all over again. Pin still looking for these shots at 14-3, mind you. An aggressive play from Recoil, but it's just a bait for Brendan. Gonna be hype going down as well. Brendan with the second. It's all on Pin if Army want to win this here. 2v1. One player above as well. Effectively go over this player in the hallway. Shoots Claymore, though they know where they are. Drone on him as well. Pin walking back in. Gonna get shot from 2 different angles. They can't do it. Arcus, stay alive. We are going into round number 12.
The answer to this is now go to match point, overtime, go to overtime and win the game there. Because Arcus have put themselves in a 5-6, which is the great position to be in. But, again, still concerned with which bomb site they want to go to because they know Kitchen is probably their best chance. Just, again, US Army have been able to hold their own long enough. It was a very quick exchange of guns, pushing up, trying to burn as much utility as possible. If they had left that too little too late, could have been a worse date. But for now, Ying, Glaz, Blitz, Ash, and Havana. That's Arcus' win con, they say. For now,
Attackers
they
need
still
to
have 6
locate and
picks.
defuse
I do
bomb.
feel like they're setting up for if they're going upstairs. But, as you can see,
Attackers have discovered the
Louis
location of a
is
bomb.
being Rooney. 2 barrels being brought, Castle's being brought, Lucy's being brought, and Kai. I'm not sure if this is more, hey, bring your comfort operators, or bring what you know can stop people from getting into sight in this time.
I'm reloading.
Yeah. Again, incredible analysis here. But this is going to be a big round for both these teams. If Arcus is able to push things to overtime, it'd be
10 seconds
monumentous after the 6 straight rounds from Army. But this kitchen bomb site was one of the
5
better
seconds
defended
left
ones by
before
Army, right? They don't have the Goyle this time, so that might hurt their defense a little bit, but they shredded Arcus when they tried to enter that office, when they tried to push the top floor. They defended it really, really well. They're doing it pretty different this time, though, right? They have a Malusi, they have a Tuberal, they have an Aruni. It's a lot of different answers. I'm also curious why they put CJ on the class instead of Brendan, who's been doing pretty good with that operator.
I do believe you're right about that, but I'm wondering what MC's plan is with that C4 in hand, waiting to just detonate on this castle. You can hear the players outside. He doesn't know how close they are, so he can't really risking it. I'm gonna ask you, when you take Mez here, do you always try to take the shield or just try to push up? Or are you prepared with, let's say, as they do right now, having Havana just try and open it, waste as much time as possible?
I don't know. I'm not a massive shield player on the mezzanine. I like taking library and just kind of working in from that side. It gives you a lot more angles. And it looks like Arcus have players over there. This Army should get this wall down in due time. Hypetier does have an electric claw. I can't see quite where they're playing downstairs in the kitchen, it looks like, but doesn't have it high enough to stop that wall, so it will come open. Looks like MC is just kind of delaying it, which is, of course, what you do is tuber out, but now the Blitz can thunder his way in. Oki using the operator yet again, didn't get a kill last round, but did open up the map for the team. Doesn't look like they're able to hop through quite yet, might need a little bit bigger hole for that shield. When they do, it's going to really disrupt this top floor. Look at CJ in a dangerous position this close to sight, but nobody on the flank with his teammates behind him. I like this from the class.
Well, I do think the Glaz is just trying to hopefully get an early pick into two of the players on site, because that's what worked out for them last time. But Payne answers with his own, takes out recoil. That is Habana off the table. Still a lot of X-Carrows in pocket. Not great operator to lose, especially this early. But now, maybe they have something else planned. Maybe it's just a Glaz Ying rush. go for it, clear out the kite, and go for the plant again. It worked for them once before, but they don't have a lot of time with a minute left. They've just got to burn it quick and go.
Really do. Should be enough time for this offense to do things, but not if they keep losing players. Friend goes down to the high tier. Who's behind? And they don't call it out. Oak falls as well. It's all falling apart for Arcus. 2v4 as it gets one to help bring it back. Another for CJ. It's possible. Lane going down, and the glass falls. It's all on Azo, and now it is all Army. 7-5 victory. Nearly looked winnable for Arcus, but US Army Esports pulls it out in the end.
I was not expecting a 7-5, but US Army did clutch back, even with two new fresh faces, and they've answered with their own and showed it. And as you can see, yes, at the bottom of the team for learning, but it wasn't bad. The whole context of that match was, hey, we're still warming up, and now that we're warmed up, we're going to punish you early. Can't say anything bad about it. Both teams did really well. They both fought hard, but US Army win it. It was tough. It was close, but they did well.
Yeah, they really did, right? It looked so shaky in the first 4 rounds, and then they just decide that they're ready to play, right? They turn things up. They go 6 unanswered before dropping 1, and then, of course, claiming that victory back. 7-5. And looking across the board, this is one of those rare games in Siege, right? Where everyone's doing something. Even if you go negative, even if you don't have the stats, every single player in this lobby finding some way to contribute throughout that map. Of course, Army on top, as they were 3rd overall, I believe, with Mist losing the last one, could push them all the way up into 2nd in the Ranger division. Of course, don't know that for sure. We'll have to wait to find out, but a very important game with both these teams' playoff implications. Arcus were number 8, and this loss won't help them. It was a very well-fought game, but unfortunately, another loss in the standings.
Sadly, you're right about that, but it's just going to have to work out that way in the long run. You're going to come back to our faces for one more time, then we'll head to a break. But I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming down with your league. We do have the best match for last. Hopefully, and I mean this, we do get to see a round 15 overtime. But again, we're not done yet. As you can see there below, SkylineGG versus NT, which, again, I'm excited for, but I'm worried now. Another Skyline roster. Another horrible, painful match to go through of just headshots, spawn peaks, everything being so calculated, my brain won't be able to keep up with it. So, hope you're all ready. Anything you want to say before I head to break?
Just like I said after game number 1, another incredible game, 2 more incredible teams, and the games are seeming to go longer and longer, so that round 15 you're asking for, maybe not too out of the question as we get into our 3rd game of the night.
You're right about that. Let's head to break. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. As we said before, we've got the final match of the day. Team SkylineGG versus Team NT or Nutorious. I'm going to say I'm excited for this match, but I'm not sure if I'm excited for all the right reasons. Having the two teams that are, rank 1 and rank 4 who can still fight and put each other out of place is kind of a good thing to see. This is probably the match I'm most excited for today. What about you, Kingfisher?
I've only been more excited for the matches as we go along, so it's certainly ramping here for game number 3, like you said, right? These are two very high-powered teams in the other division, the Commando division, I believe, so it's going to be exciting to see what they do, how they match up against each other, and I think we talked about it earlier, right? Over in the Ranger division, the number 1 team had first place locked, right? I believe it was Temper. It's still up for grabs in this one, so this is an extremely important game for both of these rosters.
Definitely right about that. We're going to have to make this very quick because the players are antsy. Let's go to the head-to-head quickly. As you can see, the round differentials are only 35 and 19. Both still positive. Both teams are on a winning streak right now. And again, those losses are either from really tight games versus really good players, or just, Team Sesh being absolute menaces so far on this board. Let's head on to see Team 1 quickly.
Looks like it's gonna be SkylineGG there on a win streak of 5. I believe still are on that win streak. They were 3-0 before losing their first. Huge Team KDR though, and look at that, kicks a 1.6 overkill per round, 35% survival rate. And looking at the numbers, right, we've done this with all the featured players. Is one of the first. It's been around for the whole season by the looks of it, so all those numbers going to be very, very accurate. Not just one standout game. Being said, interesting defensive bans, right? I mean, Clash and Warden aren't two you think of as being the top 3 bans for a team, but certainly annoying operators, so I get it.
I could probably not argue that, so I'm going to say let's go see the rest of the players of this team because I need to see something more. I need to see something substantial and punishing. Regrets, Kixo, Kara, Kenzo, and Cirque. Looking at this team for SkylineGG, 1.2 KDs all around except for Cyric. He's got the highest. Sorry, no, Kix has got the highest. So we've got 2 with 1.6. And that's kind of nuts. That means there's a full team of fraggers. No brains needed. All smooth, all great gun skill. But again, their survivability probably shows otherwise. 46 for most of the team except for Kara. And I can say Skyline just looks like a top roster, ready to play, ready for tier 1 even. Let's head over to Team 2. I want to see what their stats are and how quickly they can mend us or destroy us. Team Nutorious, longest winning streak being 5, longest losing streak only being by 2, given to them by their previous opponents as they've won. Team Sesh 7-3. So, Faster was the last team. Was the player to watch this match. I do believe he's still on the roster today, showing us up because there's a little bit of a jump out of Team Notorious. They've showed work, they've done well, but Left Pocket Dog was a match where the last roster was the full team. Today we do have a sub with us as Osa. So let's go to see the player stats.
Yeah, looking across this team, it's a little shakier than the Skyline one that we looked at, right? Not a single player there under a KDR of 1.22, and that's higher than anyone on this team. Faster on top with 1.06. Also 2 brand new players, either to the stack or just to these game days, being Ash. I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce that one. Orange Korku. So
It's just Ash
two
and
new
Ash,
players
man. Don't worry.
Just
We've
Ash.
got
Okay.
Ashes and Jog. But for now, Jog are just gonna have to show us something intense. We have a quick match here, and it sounds like the players are basically ready, and they're just activating. They're ready to revolt in the victory. So let's go see what the map bands are, and let's see where we're heading to. Clubhouse, Skyscraper gone, Night Haven, Gall, Chalet. So we get no repicks today. It's Lair. Ooh, you're gonna have to answer me. How do you like Lair? Do you like it? Do you not? What's your plan?
I don't at all. Either personally or in a comp setting. It's a little bit of a weird map. I mean, first off, it's massive. At least it feels that way when you're in it. It certainly feels like you're running a marathon just to get from one side of the building to the other. That being said, though, there are certain pockets that like it, right? It's definitely not the worst. map, I don't think, in the rank pool, or I guess the comp pool, rather. And there are some teams that do really, really good at Lair. And I think that's often kind of the switch-off point, right? We talked about it a little bit in Game 1 of the day on Night Haven Labs. It's much less, I think, about offense and defense, and it's way more important either if you're a team that likes Lair or if you're a team that hates Lair, because there's really no in-between.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that. Lair is not one of my favorite maps. Both these teams do like it, though, statistics-wise. They've both won, round 4 or lost 7 on it for the side of Team Nutorious. But on the side of Skyline, they've never actually been brought to this in this tournament, only in other ones. So I'm kind of hoping we get to see something interesting or something profitable, something I can take. As we can see, shield bans all around, Monty and Blitz being taken off the board. We do have Clash also being taken away from the side of the defenders, with Legion as well following up. Going to Master, I've got to say, top floor is probably my favorite site of this map, which is a complete contrast to Chalet that we just had.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by
Yeah,
attackers.
I think this is probably one of the few maps in the entire game where the #1 site is
I've placed bench
indisputed, right? There's really no debate whether you love it, whether you hate it. This is the best site by a pretty wide margin, if I can talk correctly. The basement site isn't horrible, but yeah, this one is extremely defender-sided. If you can keep that exterior wall closed on the bottom side of the map here, it's pretty much GG's for the defense. These doorways in the site are a death box. You have to be able to open up breach, and that being said, Skyline interestingly banned out the shields instead of the hard breach. I think for this top map or this top site rather in particular, get the hard breach out of it, because it really changes the way that this site's played.
I do believe you're right about that, and from what I can see with these players and these teams, this is probably going to have to work out to, hey, you can't find our drone, we're going to use it against you and punish you for it. Which seems to be even more likely the chance. As you can see with this one, my spawn peeking, trying to get a nice little nutty angle on any players from take the top stairs. But here we go. The ace charge being thrown from the top roof. He's actually going to get the wall open. Here's the thing. I didn't know you can get that angle, so I'm going to take that first. Here we go with the Flores drones going up the stairs to try and push Gordon out of position, but it does not work. Is there anything you're hoping to see or not hoping to see with this match so far?
Not necessarily. I mean, Lair games are always such a toss-up to me. It's very difficult to tell kind of what the teams prefer. There's no set-in-stone strategies, I think, at least on Lair either. Every team plays it a little bit differently. There are like bones of every site that are going to be the same, obviously. But it's a lot more team-specific than some of the maps in rotation. Instead, Team Nutorious, they have an interesting lineup, right? They have a lot of weird util. They have a shield, they can block doorways, they can blow stuff up, they can make phone calls, just about everything you could want, but it makes it so hard to predict how they're going to push his site. Looks like they know the mutes here. Regrets needs to be extremely careful, because Jog is mere feet away with that TMR. Uh-oh.
You're definitely better with that. The shot's coming out, the shotgun close, though. Much better position to be in, but War is here planning something. Gadget on hand, goes for the long range, closes off the door. Blackbeard rushes, goes for them Lucy, but he's not alone. Kara actually takes out her own teammate in the end. But Kix does answer with his own, getting it even. But there's Warden finally getting taken out, but Kix is there to refrag. Luckily, hopefully he'll be able to get this player who's just jumped in. Don't have a lot of time. You're getting tagged in the engagement, but actually gets his own kill. Regrets taking one off the board, but evening it up to 2v3. He's close, but does he know? He does. Goes for the pre-fires and get the first kill. Ash just absolutely annihilating. But here's the problem. It's a 2v1. Never mind. It's a 1v2. And Cirque ends it for both of them after they've closed and tried to go for the plant.
Very turbulent, very quick round #1, as Skyline gonna be the team to take it, and that's about what you expect, right? On that site, very seldomly goes to the attackers. Now, of course, heading back down to the basement. I think this is often the true litmus test of how the rest of the game is gonna go. Just because, you know, it's a lot more fair site. It's a lot more site where anything can kind of happen. They're bringing a very different lineup from the defenders. I think they only added in the zombie from round #1, but it is a lot of trap operators here for the basement.
Defenders, protect your
I do
bombs
believe you're right
from
about
being
that,
defused by
especially as a comparison to last round, where again, I'm not really sure how to feel about this. Makes known somewhere known for, hey, we're roaming upstairs. Yes, we have a couple traps like cap cans, but 3 of the players will stay downstairs. Only 2 will be upstairs roaming. In this case, it seems like they might be trying to turtle strap this, which, again, might work, might not. Not really entirely sure how I would play this, especially for a map like Lair, where it's, hey, we've got castles to slow things down, try and shut out all the rotates, make sure that hatches are reinforced. As we can see now with this army, they're planning on closing this out, so maybe it is turtle and hope, or just catch people off guard. This Capcan seems to have the right idea. Hold on green stairs, make sure nobody can push into medical.
Round number 2 underway here. Seeing the Blackbeard yet again. Gotta think with how much you're playing it, Skyline is gonna ban the Blackbeard after round number 3. Certainly seem not to like the shield ops with their current ban. And I think I didn't get to touch on this at the start of the game. Those are 2 strange operator bans from Team Nutorious. I'm not sure if that's just kind of the Lair meta, but Clash and Legion, not 2 operators I think of when you're talking about the top 2 bans. Maybe if you're overplaying something, you target at 3rd. Definitely unorthodox, and these castle barricades are being rendered absolutely useless here by G. He's able to get through them very quick. Part of Blackbeard's kit that's so often forgot about because it's used so seldomly. Wall dash is actually extremely effective.
It is going to be